241.
It's Decision 2020, and Radio.com has you covered. Take Mark Cox, Annie Fry, Dave Glover, and any show on 97.1 wherever you may roam. Stream the station live at 971talk.com. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. Happy to be with you on this middle of the week pause as we stop and reflect on what the heck happened last night. My gosh. I couldn't sleep last night. Since I'm a bit of a thinker and an analyzer, when I take in that much information and I'm processing it as the information has, flowed through my system, I've taken it in, and then I sit there and I go, okay, so what just happened? So I was thinking hard on this. Probably, I don't think that I fell asleep until about 3:45.
Jeez.
Wow.
Which is really stupid. Why did I do that? Do you ever get like that?
Yes, I was that way a little bit last night because I felt like we were on the whole night. So, we kind of were amped up and coming down from that and a lot to think about, a lot to digest. But I also sleep like a rock. So I didn't really have that problem.
So I was sending things. I'm looking at Twitter because I send things to Katie. The last thing I sent her was at 2:26 in the morning, and it was bullet points of thoughts that I was having. I was like, I'll send them to Katie. Then that'll be a safe place to put it. Here's what I wrote. Voters are still voting for or against Trump. I think that culminates in a potential Trump win for last night, because to me, that means he's still in the driver's seat. When people are looking at last night's debate, Joe Biden did not make a case for himself. He tried to fortify the case against Donald Trump by really being dismissive of him. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I don't think Joe Biden did anything to advocate for him taking the reins and taking control and us entrusting him with this country. It's like for a lot of people, Donald Trump right now is still the devil, So I do believe that after last night's debate, this has continued to be more than it's ever been a referendum on Donald Trump. Second point I have is the debate felt as icky as it did because it was entirely self-serving. Never once were the American people the focus. Not one time did I ever feel like what they were doing was trying to advocate for our vote. This is like when you were watching your children fight with one another and they're just telling you, they're reporting to mom and dad about how crappy their sibling is. Like, but he did this and then he said this and blah, blah, blah. And as a parent, you're sitting here going, I'm not going to litigate each and every situation that you're bringing up here. And every single word that you said to me right now about what the other person did doesn't really matter, because from what I can tell, you're being a crab to her and he's being a crab to you. And we need all of this to stop. I really feel like the reason why I felt like the three of us had last night, hopefully you watched with us in our whiskey slushed chilly evening. Glad we did that together, because otherwise I would have just been like banging my head against the wall. I really felt like afterwards there was an extreme sense of not dissatisfaction, but unsatisfaction. Like, wow, I was really excited for something and it didn't happen. Like, I feel like I got cheated. Mm-hmm. But that's because the debate is supposed to be about you. The debate is supposed to be about what these guys are going to do for you or on your behalf if they're elected president. And it was just a pissing match over how much the other one sucks. It was entirely self-serving. They left the American people out of that conversation, and it was really, really icky to watch, and it felt icky afterwards.
Yeah.
My third point here is Trump and Biden were probably entirely more predictable than it felt in the moment. Like when you react to, well, how did Trump do? How did Biden do? I think that they, stepping back from it, I think that they were actually very predictable in the way that they behaved. But Chris Wallace's performance turned everything on its head in a very unsettling way for people. And I really believe that people thought that Chris Wallace would, yeah, high five Trump supporters that are listening right now. He was the conservative, air quote, conservative moderator that we were going to get in one of these. It's getting worse from here. You expected more from Chris Wallace, even though I've read on Twitter that he's a registered Democrat. I didn't go check Chris Wallace's registration. I saw enough for myself last night to have a feeling about his thoughts and feelings on these two men. But I don't think that any of us, I don't think going into this that the Chris Wallace factor was going to be such a strongly scented spice in this cake. And that it's like, what is the green stuff that you put in salsa that some people people love it or hate it? What's that called? Everybody's screaming at the radio now. Cilantro.
Yeah, cilantro.
Yeah. You're a cilantro fan or you're not. You're a Chris Wallace fan or you're not. But I think that even the people who liked Chris Wallace were kind of like, whoa, this is a disaster. I saw nobody saying that it was good, which brings me to my fourth point. Everybody says it was a dumpster fire. It was like you could go to bat and try to defend your side of the dumpster fire, but the whole dumpster is on fire. If the left side of the dumpster was on a little less fire than the right side, it didn't take long for the fire to move from the right side of the dumpster to the left and then back again. It was a mess and it was a disaster. And again, I think we're right where we began, maybe a little more emphatically, which is that voters are still voting for or against Trump. That means that the status quo remains unchanged. That's my fifth point. And my sixth point is Chris Wallace will be the only one to see his stock price move, and it won't be good for him. He is on Fox News Sunday. I can't wait to quantify the number to see his ratings. And I don't know who will report it. I don't know where I'm going to have to dig this up from. But he's on Fox News. His people go to Fox News Sunday because Fox News is their channel, and he just crapped over an entire group of people in his demographic that watches his station and his show to see him do hard interviews. He might still very well be able to do those hard interviews the way he always had, but people are not going to want to look at his face. People are not going to want to hear his voice that are used to tuning in to Fox News. And that brings me to my Chris Wallace assessment here. I think that Chris Wallace is a legendary reporter, broadcaster. He was asking questions to Ronald Reagan in the press briefing room. He has been around and he knows his stuff. But I don't think that anybody who is 40 or younger is waiting around to hear what Chris Wallace has to say. And I think that when he's the only person up there and he's the only one who's asking these questions, that they're really missing out on an entire group of people. Like, you know, Chris Wallace kept going, gentlemen. And I'm like, where the heck are the gentlemen at? Who are you talking to right now? I mean, Donald Trump is not up there to act like a gentleman. John, I get what Donald Trump is doing. It's his brand, but please stop it with that. Like, this is not something that is going to translate to a huge portion of the voting audience. And if Chris Wallace is one of 3 old guys up there, and I'm saying that perceptively from people who may be undecided going into this debate, I think we need to consider, not that Chris Wallace shouldn't be involved, but maybe that there needs to be a balance of people on that panel to help moderate it and to help diversify it. Very interesting right now to watch Fox News do breakdown of this and not talk about Chris Wallace. It's impossible to talk about the debate last night and not address the fact that Chris Wallace was as much of a factor as Joe Biden or Donald Trump, and the way they're dancing around it. And you know, on Twitter, I've seen a lot of Fox News personalities on Twitter not be like Chris Wallace is trash, but basically say like this moderation is not good and that's biased. So there's been criticism on Twitter, but watching Fox News today, they play things that Chris Wallace does and then they don't talk about Chris Wallace. And if Chris Wallace had nailed it, he would be everywhere today. They would be slobbering all over Chris Wallace because he's their guy. Biden said that he's the Democratic Party. So if you're a Democrat right now, if you're an AOC Democrat, your leader is Joe Biden, and he said so last night. He said he's not for the Green New Deal. His website says differently, which is ironic, but he said last night emphatically that he is not for the Green New Deal. He said he's going to remove all of the Trump tax cuts. He's very confident in doing that. There's no shame in his sentence when he says that either. He's very okay with the idea that the Trump tax cuts, they're gone. If you elect him, your taxes are going up, folks. My taxes are going up. Your taxes are going up. Everybody's taxes are going to go up if Joe Biden gets elected. And let me ask you this. What are you going to get in return? The alternative to Trump's behavior on that stage, the idea of Chris Wallace saying, gentlemen, gentlemen, and you knowing that one of those individuals up there was acting like a gentleman and one of them wasn't, that's the way it was supposed to be, in my opinion. That's the win that I think a lot of potentially disenchanted moderates who can't stand the behavior of Donald Trump wanted to see Joe Biden not take the bait. And there was a bully on that stage last night. I'm not going to say Donald Trump wasn't a bully. He talked way too much. He interrupted way too much. But Joe Biden was so immensely rude and disrespectful in his candor, which is ridiculous to me because that's the way that you're going to show people that you're not like Trump. Joe Biden tried to out-Trump Trump. See Marco Rubio, see Ted Cruz, see Rand Paul, see Chris Christie, see all of these people who are on the primary debate stage who decided, all right, Trump, you want to rumble? Let's rumble. Trump smoked every single one of them. Nobody beats Trump at the Trump game. And I don't want to see people trying to have that fight because it's ugly. It's ugly when it comes from Trump. It's really ugly when other people start getting there. That Joe Biden wants to be the president of the United States. And I'm pretty sure that he believes, just like if I ever write a sentence and I say Obama supporters will say it's President Obama. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't write Obama because I wanted everybody to know that I wanted to disrespect him. People have done the same thing to me on Twitter. If I say Trump, they'll reply and say it's President Trump. And they don't realize that I'm a Trump supporter. But there is a known respect that goes with that office. There's a known deference that goes when you're speaking to the president of the United States. And Joe Biden knows that. He demanded it, I'm sure, everywhere he went when Barack Obama was the president, and I'm sure he would be right to demand it if he wins this election. He called the president of the United States a clown last night. He told him to shut up, and he said, quit your yapping, which is something that I haven't heard anybody under 80 say, ever. Quit your yapping. Except for maybe we should bring that back. Maybe I'm going to tell my kids that. Quit your yapping. And they'll be like, what does that mean, Mom? I don't understand. Joe Biden missed a huge opportunity last night to be the converse of Donald Trump, and he went all in trying to beat Trump at his own game, which means we're right back to where we started. And where we started is how much does this country hate Donald Trump? Because the vote for Joe Biden will be almost wholly supported by people who want to stop Trump. And whoever is filled in that blank, they'll vote for somebody else. I've seen so many people talking on Facebook and on Twitter last night. I was reading comments in every local news channel post. I was reading stuff in, local newspapers, and on Twitter, I was reading comments from people on both sides of the aisles who were making demonstrative statements about who won and who lost. I love hearing what those people say. The celebrity, the person with the blue check and the, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers, they are a means to an end to me to see what your people, your followers are saying, because those are the voters. Kevin Hart, he's one vote. Scott Baio, he's one vote. But the people who are following up on that, those are the people. Those are the individuals who got left out of the debate last night because these two men wanted to rough each other up and beat each other up. And Chris Wallace was happy to be in the middle of it. So I think in essence, America lost last night, but there are two more debates and I can't wait to watch them. And I think that we are going to see a very different Trump moving forward. I'll leave you with this. I have a text message from one of my dearest friends today who wanted me to give her my opinion on President Trump's stand by comment about what people are saying is white supremacist, which we can get into the nuances of that here in a second. That she said, I explained that I don't think that the president meant it the way he said it. I think it was a gaffe. I think he needs to clarify, but the president isn't a racist. And the question in and of itself is out of line, the way it was presented. And the response was, all I know is that he's the only president who I wouldn't allow babysit my children because of his manners. And if that sounds ridiculous to you, if you just facepalmed in your car or at your desk because you don't like the idea that someone is judging who they want to have vote for president by who they would let babysit their kids, so many people are looking at this presidency like that. It's real. And it does matter if you want to win. Let's talk about more of it with Ryan and Katie when we come back. Going to ask you guys if you had to medicate any hangovers from the whiskey slush. We're going to get a whiskey slush review. When we come back, Katie and Ryan and you comment on the Facebook Live, the YouTube Live. We'll be back in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
With mortgage rates at historic lows and homes selling with multiple offers, why would you ever pay more than 4? I'm Christina Straight. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 441 all fours.
Straight Realty has sold over $250 million in the St. Louis area. No matter who you are, if saving money and commissions is important to you, then call me. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The Retirement Advisory Group is hosting their last Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It is Tuesday, October 6th, and you need to reserve your spot. You can check it out at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m., and here's what you need to do. Call 855-755-1555. That's 855-755-1555, and reserve your seat to this very special event. This is where Thomas Helbig is going to show all of you pre-retirees, folks that are really close to retirement, or you can see it coming soon, and you want to make sure that you protect yourself from any major dips that the stock market might take, and you get to participate in the gains still. That sounds nice to you? Should. Thomas Helbig can coach you through that entire process to make sure all that money that you worked so hard to save is working hard for you in your retirement. If you want to reserve a spot, again, it's the final of the year Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, October 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-755-1555 or go online to reserve your seat at retirementkey.com.
There are new things to think about every day.
History of our country.
If 2020 has your head on a swivel, we're here to help. I'm Listening is a mental health self-checkup. And if you missed the live broadcast, you can still get the audio at imlistening.org. 97.1 FM Talk. helping you stay connected to news and resources. Visit imlistening.org.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income in just 5 payments? You heard right. In just 5 payments, set up a six-figure retirement cash flow for as long as you live. There's a retirement crisis in America because the pension system of old has been raided and destroyed, and Social Security is already running out of money. Most Americans are shocked to find out they need over $2.5 million to have $100,000 in retirement. A new approach is required to solve this crisis. That's why this revolutionary 5-pay retirement program was released, allowing everyday Americans to use bank money to create a retirement cash flow without relying on Social Security or pensions. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it accelerates the amount they'll have at retirement or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement in just 5 payments, call Wealth Education Group now at 1-800-283-9595 to see if you qualify for this brand new program. Plus, as a free bonus, you'll get the 5-pay retirement guide and video. Call 800-283-9595. 1-800-283-9595. That's 1-800-283-9595.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Here's a quick update from Coleman's Campers. Camping and campers continue to be very popular, resulting in high demand and limited inventory. Under these conditions, Coleman's is advising customers to get their order in the supply line with manufacturers now. If you're serious about having your camper by spring, contact us now at colemanscampers.com. Number 2 Fun Street, Hartford, Illinois, where customers become friends.
Everything that can be shaken will be shaken. It's Decision 2020. The choice is yours. 97.1 FM Talk. The place for ideas.
White lies and desperation, hard times in conversations. No one should ever love me like you do. Sometimes my bad decisions define my false suspicions. No one should ever love me like you do.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland? Are you prepared to specifically?
So that is the conversation that started all of this. And then Trump went in and said what he said. And honestly, I think, wouldn't you say that that's the big story? Like, that's the thing. If you hate Trump, or if you were on the fence, or if you tuned in after the fact and you didn't watch it, and you're like, oh, I wonder what happened last night, you're going to hear that Trump told white supremacists to stand by. Chris Wallace says in that clip there, will you tell them to stand down? And then I honestly think that this is a situation where Trump Trump's behavior last night got the best of him, because he was more interested in talking than he was in listening and then answering. That he, like, you ever been in a conversation, or have you ever listened to a conversation where somebody is just talking to suck up energy and oxygen in the room, and they just need to be heard, and they draw stuff out, and they want to just make sure, because that's a dominance thing, right? Yeah, it was kind of like that last night.
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty much the perfect assessment of last night.
So tell me what you think about the way that this all went down. Ryan, I'll let you just kind of say whatever you want to say about it first. Did you feel as though there was anything valuable for the American people that came out of last night?
As far as actual voting turnout from last night, I do think that it probably benefited Trump, not because he gained anything, because a lot of times when we watch debates, we're all thinking, because 90% of the country or more already knows how they're going to vote. So we're all watching it thinking, how is this going to affect the independents? There are some people who are deciding. Well, those people, I don't know if they had any decision made for them last night. What this did was probably tamp down turnout for Biden. It's not going to affect Trump. Trump's voters are going to vote for Trump regardless. They're going to turn out. But I don't think that Biden did anything to try to turn out either his base or the center. And I think Trump did a good job of dividing that to where you don't really know which one Biden is. And he split the difference between those things, which I think was his strategy.
So Brian comments on our Facebook Live right now. You can go to Annie Fry Show on Facebook and watch there. Also, the Annie Fry YouTube page Brian says, so last night was the first time hearing of Proud Boys. So what type of group are they? Are they just a group that loves America? Because there are Black people in that group also. Just wondering. I love this question, because if you asked 100 people, have you heard of Antifa? What can you tell me about Antifa? And if you asked 100 people, have you heard of the Proud Boys? What can you tell me about the Proud Boys? Katie, your estimate, you pay attention to Twitter a lot. How many out of 100 would be able to say something about Antifa, and how many would be able to say something about the Proud Boys?
I think that people would recognize the name, but wouldn't be able to elaborate on either group. I think people would recognize, I've heard Antifa before, I've heard Proud Boys before, but I don't know if I could go into a description of what either one of those organizations mean, or what they describe.
Do you think, Ryan, that what do you think it would be?
Proud Boys doesn't like Antifa. That's pretty much all I know about them, because they are, at least on Twitter, referred to as the people who are going to show up to cause problems with Antifa. And that is literally the only thing I know about them.
The interesting thing about that assessment means that Antifa is on the scene first, and the Proud Boys are a response to Antifa. So to me, the way you explain it, that Antifa has done something that has caused Proud Boys to feel like they need to show up and respond. How many, of the people Ryan, how many people do you think know a little bit about Antifa, and how many people know a little bit about the Proud Boys?
I would say almost everybody knows a little bit about Antifa. That name's been out there for at least 4 years, if not longer. And certainly in 2020, that's been a major name in the news. Proud Boys is new even to me. That's just something that I do think is a response. And I that's an interesting question that you put up on our YouTube page or Facebook page there, because I don't know enough to know that there's any sort of supremacy. I don't even know what they believe. Okay, I just know that they're showing up in spots.
I'm glad that you said that, because I am a pretty well-versed person when it comes to the things that are going on, the groups that exist. And I know of the Proud Boys, and I know that there's a lot of former military people who are in the Proud Boys. I know they basically fight Antifa on Antifa's terms, which, if you know anything about Antifa, that's not anything you want to be associated with or around. But they're different than Antifa. And I don't look at Antifa like, we've seen those shots that people put up after mug shots, after there's a big Antifa arrest haul and they've got 16 photos up there. You know what they all have in common? They're all white. Right?
Mostly, yeah.
They're all white. They're all white individuals. And if you would ask somebody who is talking about racial inequality, if they aren't white, if they're half, if they're biracial and half of their heritage comes from maybe a minority group, I've heard people say that if your skin looks, even people who are black who have lighter skin talk about the disparity between having lighter black skin and darker black skin, that there is a difference between the way those individuals live their life. That's a problem, folks. Skin color shouldn't matter at all. But when you're comparing Proud Boys as the converse, not you, but one is comparing Proud Boys as the converse to Antifa, and you're saying that you're just associating Proud Boys with white supremacists, you would think that Antifa would be the counter group that would be talking about racial issues. And seriously, every time they post up all these Antifa it's like there's been a haul of arrests. They're all white people.
Mm-hmm.
They're all young white people.
Young.
So
with lots of piercings.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but it's very often true. Neither group is a group that I want to be associated with. So two things before, Katie, I have you play this clip. Two things about the full exchange when it came in with the brief part, the initial part where you hear, I think it's important that you understand that Chris Wallace asks Trump if he will tell these people to stand down. I believe that when President Trump says stand back or stand by, it's President Trump trying to take the ground by not shutting his mouth, which he didn't do the entire night. And he said, he was trying to recall what Chris Wallace said. He said he would agree. He would absolutely agree to do so. Joe Biden, who, if Chris Wallace was doing the equal job from one to the other, while Chris Wallace was asking Trump this question, Joe Biden's peppering him with stuff at the same time. Joe Biden is the one who brings Proud Boys into it. Joe Biden is the one who takes this from the question that Chris Wallace is asking him, and Joe Biden turns the question in a slightly different direction. This is what happens when a debate is out of control. Trump said something that is being replayed in a way to make him look like he meant something that I don't believe he meant, but it's going to be on Trump to clarify what he meant and to double down. And the final thing I'm going to say here is this was a golden opportunity for Trump to talk about his platinum plan, for Trump to talk about the First Step Act, for Trump to talk about opportunity zones, for Trump to talk about everything he has done to help people in minority communities. And he's got proof to say that it's worked. He's done it. It's not, what are you going to do? It's, here's what I've already done. And then you can talk about what you want to do in the future. But Trump was more interested in debating Chris Wallace and Joe Biden that he didn't get to make his point. And in the process of it, he flubbed it up. Katie, let's go ahead and listen to this full exchange.
You have repeatedly criticized.
Accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing
to
do
specifically
that,
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call them? What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
white like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia.
So a few things here. The question to Trump is, are you willing to condemn white supremacists? Trump says, sure. And then he said, and then Chris Wallace repeats himself. He says, sure, I'm willing to do it. And then Joe Biden gets to get in there and add in the Proud Boys name. Why Donald Trump even acknowledged it, I don't know. Again, this is, I feel like Trump lost this in the only avenue he could have taken to lose this question. The only one that existed, there was only one path that Trump could go down where he could answer this question and fail, because this is the ball on the tee for Donald Trump to get his message across about what he has done. There are so many people in this country right now who aren't willing to vote for Donald Trump because of how Trump makes them feel. They don't even know what Trump has done. They don't know about the actions. They don't know about the policies because they're very hung up on how Trump makes them feel. That's an easy fix with some information when you are put in a position with a microphone and a platform to get your message across. Donald Trump is not going to get to speak to the people who are watching these debates very many more times. These people don't watch his rallies. These people aren't watching his press briefings. And when they do, if they do, they're combative. Donald Trump could have very quietly and calmly said, well, obviously, I want to condemn white supremacists. And I would have said to Chris Wallace, but I think it's a crap question that you asked it to me in the first place. I've never, ever stood by white supremacy. In fact, I just named the KKK a terrorist organization. Joe Biden, on the other hand, spoke about how former KKK members that he worked with were great people at their funerals. But this is what I have done for African Americans, and I believe action speaks louder than words. And some people listening right now might not know how invested I am in helping minority communities find success and paving the way and getting government out of the way so that they can have success that is equitable to everyone else's. I've created opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott. I've worked on the First Step Act. I've been releasing drug offenders from jail who have been serving overly large sentences and giving them an opportunity to have a new life. I've created the Platinum Plan that's talking about investing in minority-owned businesses so we can grow these communities that are impoverished and see success that's going to come from the very people who live there. But he didn't say any of that. It's ridiculous to me that Donald Trump would have had that opportunity and miss it. And if he doesn't take that opportunity the next two times, he's going to beat himself, because right now Joe Biden is incapable of beating Donald Trump when it comes to issues, because Donald Trump's policies work. That's what conservatism is. That's why conservatism is good. Conservatism wins. But Donald Trump's got to let that happen. I don't want to watch Donald Trump pummel Joe Biden into the ground so that Donald Trump looks good afterwards. Your policies are good enough, but people need to know about them. And your actions towards our minority communities have been groundbreaking. Talk about how you funded HBCUs for 10 years and Barack Obama never even thought about doing that, but you did it. You've done so much. Nobody knows. And the people listening to this show right now, they probably have invested the time to figure that out themselves to begin with. You listening don't need to hear that from me to know that you should vote for Donald Trump or you should vote for Joe Biden. You're going to make that decision yourself. But last night, Donald Trump missed the opportunity to speak to people who he normally wouldn't be able to speak to. And that's a problem. And in the midst of it, all of that stuff that I've said that he has done so well, he told the Proud Boys to stand by. He flubbed his words. He missed the opportunity. Not only did he not have the ball right there to hit way out of the park, he swung and he missed so bad he struck out and it almost ended the game. It was disappointing to see. But I still say with this president, these policies that he has, I still say the effort he's going to put in if he's reelected is infinitely better than Joe Biden. But Donald Trump needs to do a better job at communicating that, or he risks not having a second term. I'm loving reading your comments here on Facebook and on the YouTube page. And we're going to get more reaction here from inside the studio when we come back. DeRoy Murdoch's going to be with us at 1 o'clock. Looking forward to talking to him. Tim Jones as well is doing live coverage from 97.1 after the debate. So lots coming up on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
While I'm on this road, you take my hand somehow. You really.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Still you won't let go. You grow your roses on my bare soul.
You're
listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Window World. Congratulations to the guys. They have the highest rating possible with the Better Business Bureau. Only one of 2 window replacement companies in the country that have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They have the lowest prices. They have the best possible terms. They have replacement windows that are just built like tanks. One of their little deals that they do, of course, they always bring it out to your home or place of business so you can see and feel the window. They encourage you to stand on them just to prove how great and durable that they are. They have the best guarantee and warranty in the business. If anything goes wrong, they replace it, no questions asked. Call them at 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
When you're looking for reliable information that you can trust, when you are trying to make sure that the taxpayer dollars that are being spent on your behalf in your local government, your state government, you need to make sure that you have somebody who you can go to, you can rely on to dig deep, to make sure that the watchdogs are out there and paying attention to how your tax dollar is best spent in the state of Missouri. That's where the Show Me Institute comes in. When you are going online to showmeinstitute.org, you're going to quickly see how they are the only free market think tank in Missouri continuing to push for tax reduction and tax reform at all levels of government. It's important that we have these conversations, of course, on the national level, but the state level is so incredibly important. And the Show Me Institute is your resource for making sure that these good decisions are being watched and made. You can go online to showmeinstitute.org to find out more about what they do and join them in the fight for common sense public policy. The Show Me Institute, where liberty comes first.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey guys, Glover here, inviting you to join Thomas Helbig, the official St. Louis financial advisor of my show, for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Tuesday, October 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-755-1555 or go online to retirementkey.com to reserve your seat. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you concerned you won't have enough income in retirement to live comfortably? Or do you wonder how long your money will last? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older or recently furloughed, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free and protect your nest egg from any market losses? If you're nearing retirement or already retired, you don't want to miss this last event. We're taking all precautions and following the CDC guidelines to keep everyone safe and healthy. We also have the biggest room available to keep our social distancing. See you Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official St. Louis financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, at the Frontenac Hilton on Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m. 855-755-1555 or online at retirementkey.com.
97.1 FM Talk is on the radio and online on your smart speaker, on your phone, and streaming anytime at 971talk.com. Find it all at radio.com. 97.1 FM Talk.
Will you hold the line when every one of them is giving up and giving in? Tell me, in this house of mine, nothing ever comes without a consequence of cost. Tell me, will the stars align? Will heaven step in? Will it save us from our sin? Will it? Cause this house of mine stands strong. That's the price you pay. Leave behind your heart and cast away. Just another
Vote now.
product of
Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question
Why would
because
you answer that
because
question?
the question
You wanna put a lot
is
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question-
left.
Would you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
Gentlemen,
This is-
I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
I'm not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment.
No, I don't know. Have we? The state. Oh gosh, what a mess. Are we collectively as a country right now just all disappointed in ourselves?
Yes, we have an American furrowed brow.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, you said
Altogether.
you had a question?
Yeah, well, so Biden clearly had a strategy going in that I don't think that he got to execute because he just got steamrolled. My question for you guys after sitting with you last night, and we all watched this together, we were all talking about it afterwards, that I walked away and I went, you know what? I wonder what you guys think, and I really wonder what everybody thinks about this. Do you think that what Trump did last night was something that he planned to do ahead of time, or did he just get caught up in being Trump? Like, did he mean to steamroll him all night like that, or do you think that he got caught up in the moment?
I don't want to think that Trump can't help himself, but I know that that's a lot of people feel like Trump can't help himself. Get under a skin and he'll go full bore like that. I definitely believe this is something that I remember hearing specifically Brian Kilmeade explain in the 2016 campaign, which is the number one thing that you have to understand about Donald Trump is that he is a New Yorker. And when you are an apple pie Midwesterner like we are here, I mean, we're pretty standard.
Nice.
We're pretty standard issue here.
Oh,
yeah, no. When you are a Midwesterner, or if you are not from that specifically like New Englander, New Yorker lifestyle, you're not going to understand. You're not going to be able to pull yourself out of here and plug yourself in there and feel it. You can understand it, but there's a part of you that's never going to quite feel it. I remember talking to Young Page Views from Barstool Sports. He's been on our show a couple times, and he's from St. Charles, I think it is. He's from here, and he tweets every once in a while about how immensely different New York is from the Midwest. And it's like simple things. It's how you walk on a street. It's what you do when you pass somebody, or if you meet somebody in a hallway. It's just simple things. So that has really stuck with me, because there are a lot of Midwestern a-holes. It goes the other way. So it's like if you were from New York and you met somebody from the Midwest and you had a preconceived notion about them, that doesn't mean you automatically know who they are, know something about them. There's a stereotype, and stereotypes have some sense of truth to them, but usually they're exploited in the worst possible ways. Donald Trump is a New Yorker. He's a fighter. It's just who he is. He wins when he fights in his mind. That's how he quantifies a victory. And I'm sitting here like so naively going, well, why don't you just talk about your issues and your accomplishments, and everybody will just be so happy and vote for you. Okay, Annie, that's so cute. So I think that Trump, that's what Trump knows. I think Joe Biden he's a Rust Belter. I mean, if I hear one more time about him riding on the train and knowing, basically what he's saying is, I rode the train to work and I knew all the little people. That's basically what he's saying. He's like, I talked to the cooks and the cleaners and the people who normally people like me don't associate with, but I did it. And I want to be like, because you wanted to talk about it. When you have someone like Joe Biden talking to Donald Trump like that, it just looks rough to people who don't live that lifestyle. And I think that if you are a New Yorker, if you deal with New Yorkers on a regular basis, it comes off differently. That's something that Trump is going to have to manage in a campaign season. So I think that he has purpose behind it. I don't think it's not controllable, but I do think it's something he has to manage. Katie, what do you think?
I think, first of all, I think everyone in America can all safely say, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Is there
That's what
anything worse
everyone
than
is thinking.
disappointed dad?
No, that is
No.
every single, we are all parents right now looking at the children saying, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
We used to have a boss here who it was like the worst thing that could happen
Oh.
was just, there was no yelling. There was no anger.
You just knew.
If there was disappointment, you like questioned your entire existence.
Yes, you just knew. I think that Trump was anticipating for Chris Wallace to ask Joe Biden softball questions and then Joe Biden not get pressed to answer them. And so instead of just letting Joe Biden and Chris Wallace have that moment, that's why Trump was interjecting and interrupting so much, because he's like, no, if Trump feels like Chris wasn't going to press Biden, Trump was going to press Biden. So a little bit of strategy, but then as time went on, I think emotion really globbed onto that, and he became very emotional, and we're not used to seeing Trump in that way. We're used to seeing him just be like, very Trump. And this time I think the emotions got the best of him.
He was super there at the beginning. We even talked like his first response was very measured, and like the tone was soft and explained. I think the president came with loads of information last night, but you couldn't tell because he never got it in when other people weren't talking, and he always tried to make his points when Joe Biden was trying to answer a question, which Joe Biden got all these softball questions. Ryan, real quick before break, you think it was purposeful?
I think it was a strategy that he went into on purpose, and I think it got out of control. I think he was coached to do that and really get Joe Biden on his heels, because everybody knows Trump can do that. And then the further he got into it, the more it got out of his hands.
Well, let me go back to my point number 3. Trump and Biden were probably entirely more predictable than it felt in the moment. Chris Wallace's performance turned everything on its head in a very unsettling way. I think Trump was prepared for Biden to do what he did. I think Biden was prepared for Trump to do what he did. But I think if Trump got flustered, it's because Chris Wallace was maddening. Maddening to me. And I'm not, somebody messaged me like, Annie, I'm disappointed that you're a fan of Chris Wallace. I'm like, I'm not a fan of Chris Wallace. I just understand that Chris Wallace doesn't care what I think at all. And he's got a job to do. I don't think he did it very well last night. Let's talk to Dory Murdoch in a minute.
So at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, you're never going to have your claim denied because of lack of maintenance, because they are doing the maintaining for you. They're going to send workers out to your house 4 times a year to make sure everything's working properly. And the best part is Upkeep uses their own W-2 employees. A lot of their competition uses subcontractors, which means it takes longer to get someone out to your house if there's an issue. At Upkeep, they just bypass all of that and they treat their people great. Plus, you're going to be working with your home manager. This is your point person to help you through every step of the process. Most home warranty companies, you're going to call in, get a call center, talk to 5 or 6 different people over the course of a claim. Not at Upkeep. They have your one guy or gal that's going to help you out with everything, streamlining the process and making it super easy on you. To learn more, visit their website, upkeepstl.com. If you use the code DGS, you get $100 off your service. upkeepstl.com.
Infinite Wellness is located in Glen Carbon, Edwardsville. It's the Infinite Wellness Center. You can go online right now to learn more at infinitewc.com. I want to talk to you folks out there that have achy joints that are holding you back. If you have had conversations with doctors about maybe down the road, you might be looking at some knee surgery for your arthritic pain, or, maybe your joint pain in your hip is starting to get to you. If you have this problem and you think surgery is somewhere down the line, let's talk about alternative medicine protocols that you can check out, regenerative medicine protocols. This is what Dr. Ryan Cleland at Infinite Wellness Center specializes in. 25% off of listeners who mention my name when they call 618-655-0333. This can include stem cell treatment if needed for knee and arthritis pain. It's a solution for any budget, depending on care, the damage that you have. Your care may be covered by insurance, which could include Medicare. If this sounds like it needs, if it's something that's up your alley, would you give him a call? I have gone to Dr. Ryan for some other issues, and I know he's so good at what he does. He's caring, he's compassionate, and they are going to work with you to make this a possibility for you. Just make sure you mention my name, 618-655-0333, infinitewc.com.
It's always there for us, ready to welcome us home, to fill an empty stomach, to wash away the day, and help us say goodnight. At Spire, we deliver more than natural gas. We deliver fuel for good friends, for good moms and for good snuggles. Plus rebates to help you save energy and money. We are Spire, and together we are fuel for good.
Critical thinking for critical times. The free exchange of ideas. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Download the radio.com app and stream the station wherever you go. KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
A debate shakeup is coming. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The commission in charge of presidential debates says it's hoping to ensure a more orderly discussion after last night's chaotic first meeting between President Trump and Joe Biden. Meantime, the candidates are taking their case to the voters, with Biden riding the rails. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has more live.
Lisa, as a stop in Alliance, Ohio, Joe Biden called President Trump's debate performance a national embarrassment, but he said he's looking forward to the next face-off.
I just hope there's a way in which the debate commission can control the ability of us to answer the question without interruption.
Biden made the comments as he continued his train tour through Ohio and Pennsylvania. The Commission on Presidential Debates released a statement signaling changes to the format are coming, that the debate made clear additional structure is needed. Lisa.
Rachel, the president criticizing Biden's debate performance in a series of tweets. He holds a rally tonight in Minnesota. Not quite so fast in Louisville, where a grand jury member filed a lawsuit for more information to be made public. Fox's Jeff Manasso has the latest live.
Lisa, a Kentucky judge has just granted a motion giving Attorney General Daniel Cameron a Friday noon deadline before releasing grand jury recordings in the Breonna Taylor case to redact names and personal information. Cameron telling Fox Louisville,
we're fully confident in the presentation that we put forward. At the end of the day, it was our responsibility to uncover the truth.
This amid public pressure after the grand jury didn't indict 3 police officers for murder in a failed drug raid in March. Though one officer is charged, pleading not guilty this week to charges of wanton endangerment. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. A big rally on Wall Street fueled, at least in part, by renewed hope for a stimulus bill as the Treasury chief and the House Speaker meet. The Dow's up over 500 points. America is listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
For years, I paid too much for Medicare without receiving the benefits I deserved. eHealth changed that. They helped me get more benefits and free up extra cash each month. Whether you're already on Medicare or it's your first time, get professional advice by calling 1-800-319-1899 for a free plan review with no obligation to enroll. One call can make a big difference. 1-800-319-1899.
Calls connect to eHealth Insurance Services, a licensed health insurance agency with plans from many insurance companies. This ad is not affiliated with Medicare. Benefits and coverage not available in all areas.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's a little bit warmer this afternoon, 78 degrees tonight. Clear skies, dropping back into the upper 60s fairly quickly during the evening hours. 45 for the overnight low. Thursday, sunny and 65. Friday, sunny 62. And Saturday, partly sunny, 65 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny, 65. Will be some showers and thunderstorms, though, around Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. A new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words paid in full.
Woo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 314-567-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. 111 West Port Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Come join me as I MC the Vitae Foundation's annual St. Charles Pro-Life event. It's coming up Thursday, October 29th at the St. Charles Convention Center. You guys know Matt Walsh, right? He is a fellow young influential conservative, and he's going to be the keynote speaker. He's passionate about the value of life, just like Vitae Foundation is. Vitae's messaging promotes a culture of life while connecting women facing unplanned pregnancies with life-saving resources. It's so important to Vitae and to me to make sure that when we are pushing ourselves through this really hard time where we are seeing the loss of our unborn, that we also have to embrace these women who are faced with these very difficult decisions where they feel very lonely and scared and unprepared. Vitae Foundation is embracing these women and helping them have the information they need in order to choose life. And I cannot wait to hear Matt Walsh on October 29th at the St. Charles Convention Center discuss this issue. So join me. You can go online to reserve your seat today by going to adsforlife.org. That's adsforlife.org.
Are you looking for ways to increase the value of your business property? Well, repainting is one of the most cost-effective options. Let the expert team at CertaPro Painters help protect your investment with professional results. You can trust CertaPro Painters to get the job done right and safely. Plus, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business you can support. Contact them today at CertaPro.com and discuss your project and get a proposal. CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Del Walmsley here. The first thing you're going to have to learn is until you stop expecting the politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
You could be on your way to a better lifestyle and experience the life of your dreams. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Rates are in the twos. Rates are in the twos. Rates are in the twos. Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly, and I don't know how else to say it except for mortgage interest rates are in the twos. And at the Home Loan Expert Office, we are saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with a simple refinance. We're closing loans in less than 30 days, and you can skip 2 full months of payments when you refinance at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
97.1 FM Talk, keeping you plugged in while wireless. Download the radio.com app for your phone or listen by smart speaker.
Hey Alexa, hey Siri.
Play 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
You have repeatedly criticized.
Except the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing to do
specifically
that, but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right
So
wing.
what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia.
That's a 1 minute and 7 second long clip, and there is so much hot mess in that minute long clip. But this is what has come out of last night's debate. Lots of yelling and more confirmation for lots of people who know that Trump is a racist, that he has said that he is telling white supremacists to stand by. That's what's come out of this. Now, I have said in this for the entire first hour of the show that the opportunity that was presented for Trump to answer that question with action that he has taken, it was such a huge opportunity, and I believe he missed it greatly. And I've been critical of him on that. We've got a comment here from Andy on Facebook saying that he finds it a common theme when he's listening, that there's always some translation needed so that you guys can feel good about what Trump said. I said that Trump failed in that response in every possible way that he possibly could have come up with. Because I don't believe that Trump is a racist. I believe Trump has done so much to help people of minorities in this country, and he missed the opportunity to talk about it. But it is the conversation right now. I do believe that the president's record deserves to be defended, and I do think that the president needs to come out and clarify what he meant in that statement. I'm really excited to talk to DeRoy Murdoch, Fox News contributor, who's with us every Wednesday, and get your thoughts and opinion on the main storyline here that has come out of last night's yelling match or debate or whatever that was. DeRoy, what do you think? Just give us the lowdown here. What was your experience watching that debate?
Annie, yeah, great to talk with you. I describe it as something like a train crashing into a jumbo jet, or a jumbo jet crashing into a commuter train, something like that.
With the Hindenburg in tow.
The Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic, maybe. I would have enjoyed the debate more. I'm all for robust debate and contentious discussion, all that, as long as people can finish their sentences. It would have been great to hear, one rude remark followed by another very tough response, and go back and forth like the British do in the House of Commons, as opposed to talking to each other, which I don't think served either candidate. But on your question about a couple things on the white supremacy question, I agree with you. I think the president very clearly could have said, listen, people keep bringing up the lie that he supposedly said there were very fine people on both sides in Charlottesville after the racial melee there. He said that was his first sentence. His second sentence was, but I don't refer to the white supremacists and the neo-Nazis. Those people should be condemned. And I think he called them very rough people, I believe is also the term he used. Mm-hmm. So the left loves to quote the first sentence, but they'd rather don't quote the second sentence. That would have been helpful. I would have mentioned the fact that just last week, he declared both Antifa and the Ku Klux Klan terrorist organizations. So they're now officially declared by the U.S. government as terrorist organizations. Obama and Biden had 8 years to declare the Ku Klux Klan a terrorist organization, and they didn't do that. Why didn't they think of that idea? And then he talked a little bit about his support of the No Step Act, the criminal justice reform, which is having a disproportionate benefit for Black people who were in jail, and others, but disproportionately beneficial to Blacks who were in jail for nonviolent drug offenses. They're now being released. Many of them are going back to work. They're going back to their communities. They're behaving themselves. And Alice Johnson's a great example. She's been at the Republican convention. I think she was actually at the debate in the audience. She was somebody who was locked up for about 20 years. She was let out, and she's now working with former prisoners to get them reincorporated into society. A beautiful thing. I heard nothing about his support for historically Black colleges and universities. They now have a steady stream of revenue they've not had before. They wanted that under Obama and Biden. They didn't get it. If folks wanted criminal justice reform under Obama and Biden, they didn't get it from Obama and Biden. They got it from Trump. And also the 8,700 opportunity zones, which have been predominantly low-income, many of them Black neighborhoods, where I think $75 billion in investment have come in to help create jobs, create opportunities, and lift these folks out of poverty and into American prosperity. He should have talked about that, and he didn't. So I really wish the president had interrupted less and spent more time talking about his very positive record on this issue and many others.
DeRoy Murdoch is a Fox News contributor on the phone with us. DeRoy, did you hear anything last night that you would have considered hopeful or, optimistic about moving forward? It seems as if there wasn't a lot of that.
Not a whole bunch. I mean, I guess in the sense that the president said that if Biden were elected, he would take away the Trump tax cuts. And I think the president said if he were elected, we'd have even more tax cuts. That would be a good thing for the economy. But he could have talked either more about his accomplishments or more about his intentions for a second term if he's reelected. Didn't hear too much about that. And frankly, Biden didn't talk very much about what his plans were. It was just a lot of screaming and sniping, and it's really a shame. So I hope in the next two debates, they both calm down, have less caffeine, and I don't expect it to look like a tea party with Queen Elizabeth at Windsor Castle, but at the same time, it'd be really good if we actually could hear their individual sentences rather than having them just talk over each other simultaneously.
Yeah,
that's not good for voters. It's not good for the candidates. It's not good for anybody.
I was ironically entertained by Chris Wallace keeps saying, "Gentlemen, gentlemen." I'm like, can we act like gentlemen? That would be fantastic towards one another.
How about that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, I don't know if you know what the actual measures are going to be, but this is a report from Axios. The Commission on Presidential Debates announced Wednesday that it plans to implement changes to rules for the remaining debates after Tuesday night's head-to-head between Joe Biden and Donald Trump was practically incoherent for most of the night. So they're talking about implementing some measures to try to make it a little bit more coherent, I suppose. Any suggestions on what you would like to see that you think, my biggest criticism of the entire night, which includes everybody who was on that stage, is that I don't feel like the American people were at the center of the conversation at any point in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
It was very self-serving, and I think that's why so many people feel icky about it. How do we turn that around so that the American people can be served by this debate, because the debate is for the American people?
Well, one thing is, I always get a little nervous when people say, well, we're going to change the rules in the middle of the game. I mean, whatever the rules were, I assume were agreed to some time ago. Now they're going to change them. But be that as it may, assuming that the rule changes are agreed to by both campaigns, I think one thing would help is to have not just the campaign managers sign it, have each candidate, have President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden sign whatever the rules are, and the moderator can say, hold it up and say, you sign the rules, here's your signature, follow the rules. I think that would probably discipline them a bit, if you will, and make them behave better rather than just, well, my deputy campaign manager signed that. I never saw that. Now hold that up and say, you sign this. These are the rules. Stick by the rules. That's one thing I do. I think the open kind of discussion really became kind of crazy. So I would ask a question, say you have 2 minutes to answer without interruption. The other person has 2 minutes to answer without interruption. I would have a format where each one asks the other a question. And if the other one's asking a question, the other one's going to be quiet while he listens to the question, I assume.
Do you think muting microphones would help?
It might, but what you'd really have to do is put them far enough apart so that you don't pick up the person's voice from the opponent's microphone. What you probably have to do is put them almost in like soundproof booths. So if you turned off the microphone, you actually wouldn't hear the person. Totally silence, yeah. And I think if they knew, all right, nobody's hearing me talk right now, that might perhaps give them an incentive to cool it. And one easy way to do it technically is have a light on the microphone. So when the microphone's lit up, it's on. And if it gets turned off, it means nobody in America is hearing me talk. And maybe if the light goes off, then all right, well, nobody's hearing me talk, so why don't I shut up? So I think that technically it would be a smart thing to do.
Roy, do you think there is a chance that the Biden camp does tap out and say, this guy doesn't even deserve our time? We're not going to do any more debates.
They could do that, but I think it would make Biden look weak. It would look like he's running away. I think he did much better last night relative to expectations, because expectations were so low that he'd get up and probably fall off the podium after 20 minutes, which clearly didn't happen. But it would be in his interest to show that that wasn't a fluke, that he in fact can do that not just once, but 2 or 3 times. And if he does, that obviously will do well for him. If he backs out now, I think it'd be very easy for people to say, he's a chicken. What are you afraid of? And in fact, people probably would follow him around on the campaign trail in chicken suits. That's a common effect. If somebody doesn't want to debate, you just have somebody dressed up in a chicken suit show up at all of his events, saying, "Why is Joe Biden chicken?" And that just becomes a story in of itself. And at that point, you pretty much have to cave in and go back and do the
I'll
debate.
volunteer Ryan to be in that chicken suit. That's fine with me. That would be good for the show.
That's going to happen regardless. Roy. Don't worry about the next debate.
You've given me a good idea. One last question before we let you go, Roy, and that is the ultimate question here is how is public opinion changing when we go through an event like last night and the ones that are coming forward? I think that there's a pretty stark difference between what a Trump administration and what a Biden administration has to offer. We heard last night that Biden is the Democratic Party. We heard he's not for the Green New Deal. He said that he's going to raise our taxes. He's fine with all three of those statements. And we get to see what Trump is doing on the daily basis because he is the president right now. Do you think anybody changed their mind last night? And is anybody going to change their mind watching Comey hearings and Supreme Court nomination hearings and all of the unrest that's in this country? Is there room for people to be persuaded still?
I think the initial polls overnight, maybe they've changed since, but the last thing I heard was that a third of the public believes Trump won, a third believes that Biden won, and a third is undecided. So we're split evenly three ways. So there you go. I think that what do we have? 5 weeks minus a day until November 3rd. We have people voting now, thanks to this early voting nonsense. I think there will be more surprises, more October surprises, and a lot of other things probably on both sides. So yeah, I think that there are things that could sway this one way or the other. If I were President Trump, I would spend as much time in both debates talking about his tremendous accomplishments, everything from energy independence, lowest Black and Hispanic and Asian unemployment in American history, also lowest poverty rate. This came out from the Census Bureau last week, I believe. The lowest poverty rate in American history achieved in 2019, coupled with about a $4,400 increase in average household income in 1 year. That's remarkable. I believe that's 4 times what Obama did in all 8 years. Trump did in 1 year. He ought to be talking about the complete elimination of the ISIS caliphate. People used to be worried about ISIS. ISIS is now gone. You don't hear people talk about it anymore. And his ideas for healthcare, which involve more use of people enjoying private healthcare, price transparency, and a lot of these other things. And what that would, I imagine, be developed in a second Trump administration. And focus on that as much as possible. There are many negatives about Biden. He can make the contrast, but he really needs to talk about his accomplishments in this administration and his ambitions for the next administration, and just hammer that as hard as possible. And he can be blunt, he can be direct, but the interruptions on one side and the insults on the other don't benefit anybody. So I don't expect some sort of super polite debate and exchange and so on, but something that can be robust and energetic, but at least let us hear the complete sentences. I don't think that's asking too much.
I lied. I have one more question because you've spawned it in my head. Is this president coachable? Is he going to be able to go back with a team and they're going to say, look, this is not playing well. You can't do this next time. Is he going to take that advice from his team, or is he going to see that for himself?
That's a good question. I think he is coachable, and this is what makes me think it. In 2016, before the convention, he was all over the place talking about all kinds of things. Just you get up and start talking about 18 things at once. After he got rid of Paul Manafort, and brought in Kellyanne Conway, Dave Bossie, and Steve Bannon, almost instantly, he got himself a teleprompter. He started reading serious policy speeches, talking about very concrete proposals, got off the Twitter much more than he'd been on before. He'd occasionally go on Twitter, but not all the time. And he just seemed a lot more focused, a lot more serious, and looked like somebody who really wanted to win the White House. And I thought his fall campaign, because of that, was much better than the run up to the nomination through the primaries. So that says to me, somebody was able to sit down with them and say, listen, Mr. President, if you want to win the White House, you can do it, but you got to focus. You've got to be disciplined. Don't just run off in 12 directions at once. Try to be more of a laser beam than just a bazooka. And he did it. And he won the White House. I think he can do it again. So I assume he's coachable, and I hope somebody will coach him and tell him to do this. And I think in most of the campaign since Brad Pascal stepped aside and Stepien stepped in, I think most of that really has improved, and his numbers have gone up as a consequence. Although I think last night was really kind of a step backward for the most part.
Well, there's still steps left to take. Jory Murdoch, thanks for letting us keep you for an extra few minutes here. Fox News contributor and with us each week. We're always grateful to talk to you, Jory.
Great to talk to you. All right. Have a good week. Thank you.
Yep, you as well. And I'll talk to you again next week. We're going to take a quick break. Tim Jones is going to join us when we come back. And I want to talk to Tim Jones about the Supreme Court nomination, Amy Coney Barrett, and more so, something that if you've been listening to Tim Jones speak on our show or all of the shows that he is on, or his own show on Sundays from 7 to 9, Tim Jones, more than anybody, has been pounding the table about how impactful Mitch McConnell's judge approval is going to be now and in the coming years and decades. I can't wait to talk to him about the situation with our courts when we come back. Stick around, Tim Jones, in just a minute on the Annie Fry Show.
The city that we love, great clouds all over the hill.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
But if you close your eyes,
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
Curtis and the whole staff at Complete Auto Body and Repair want to thank everyone for using them for their services. They are the leaders in the industry and always strive to be the best, so they now offer no-contact touchless auto repair. That means when you drop your keys off, they will sanitize your keys and fob. Technicians will sanitize before and after service. In addition, all repair authorizations will be done digitally after service. Your safety is the utmost importance to them as they sanitize their shops several times a day. They will even give you complimentary pickup and delivery via their towing partner, A2B Towing, and $150 off all hail repairs. To put it simply, they offer the complete experience. There are a wide variety of companies that can take care of your car and claim to go the extra mile, but how many of them follow through after you hand them your keys? This is where they show you Complete's mission. They are a family and will serve you as if you were one of their own. With 5 convenient locations, others can't compete with Complete. CompleteAV.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet.com. So it's crazy time at ThrottleNet. They are IT geniuses, but they are a little bit nutty. Right now, they will pay you $250 for a conversation about your IT support because they value your time during the crazy pandemic. They'll give you the first 30 days for free, no charge for all of their services. And then they'll pay you another $1,000 if you decide to leave in the first 30 days for your trouble. They don't anticipate that you're going to leave, but if you do, they'll shake your hand, they'll put you back where you were, and they'll write you a check for $1,000. It is completely no risk, and they reward you for your time and for your effort. They are the best IT shop in the city, named number 1 5 years straight. They are good guys. Like I said, they are geniuses at protecting you, but they can communicate. They don't stare at their shoes. They look you in the eye, and they tell you what you need to know. ThrottleNet.com/971.
2019 pricing. That means in just about everything you do, the price goes up a little bit the next year. Things cost more. This year, Darren at Rhino Shield is holding his prices to last year's levels because he knows people are dealing with different issues during this whole pandemic. If you were thinking about getting the outside of your house painted, don't. Get it Rhino Shield. Have a Rhino Shield put on the outside of it. This is this exterior ceramic coating. So don't wait. Get on the list now, right? Get it done while the getting is good, and you don't have to worry about the outside of your house or your business or your condo or your church. Go to 87725rhino.com. Darren's got a lot of pictures, before and after pictures of the hundreds and hundreds of properties in the greater St. Louis area that he's gone out and put this outstanding product on. You'll be glad you did. And then you get a 25-year warranty. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
First touch of summer, she's got your t-shirt on. Sun's going down, school's out, stars are coming on.
Every one of the cuts on my sheet makes me laugh and angry at the same time. They're all awful. It was all awful. That debate was so awful. We did this. We kind of went through this yesterday where we were talking about excited for the debate. And in the midst of being excited for a debate, there's so much other stuff going on right now. James Comey testified today, and I am going to have to dive into that tonight and really comb through what happened. And we're going to get an expert on to talk about this from a legal standpoint. And like James Comey, I don't know. I was going to say who's more insufferable to watch in Washington, D.C., but that's a pretty big pool. So I'll have to clarify that statement and follow up on it. But remember, Amy Coney Barrett is meeting with senators right now, and her confirmation hearing is going to start in a few weeks here. And what was it? I don't even remember what the date was, but it's soon. It's going to happen
October 12th.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about right. So there is so much going on right now. And this election that we're all trying to decide who we're going to vote for, you don't know who you're going to vote for. I think it's whether you're going to vote or not right now. This election could potentially be decided in the courts. The courts. And we know that Donald Trump has had an immense effect on appointing judges, and Mitch McConnell has been approving them like crazy. And we have been hearing from Tim Jones for years about how big this is. And I want to get some clarification on that right now. Tim Jones.
Another great night for Donald Trump.
No collusion, no obstruction.
This is Armageddon.
I brought you Outlander.
Brought to you by Arrowhead Building Supply.
Tim, you're almost prophetic in the way that you've been talking about these judges being approved when nobody else was talking about it. And you kept saying it's a huge deal. It's a generationally huge deal. And I think that the American people potentially will be seeing how right you have been all along in the coming months. Give us the lay of the land of what President Trump's nomination and Mitch McConnell's Senate have been doing in the court system, not just the Supreme Court, which is where everybody has their attention right now, but across the board.
Well, first of all, Annie Fry, you're quite a tough grader. Almost prophetic? I think I've hit the nail on the head. Come on.
I was flattering as much as I could muster today. I'm kind of in a bum mood from last night's.
I know.
nonsense.
I hear you. I don't know what you're talking about that debate. That was the best debate ever.
Yeah. Cheers.
No, one quick phrase on the debate, Annie. I do actually agree with you. It was a debate of missed opportunities by both candidates and a ton of illegal pass interference by Chris Wallace. I'm sorry to say. I mean,
I agree.
That's how I sum it all up. Yeah, Annie, the courts. There are entire organizations that I'm aware of that I've worked with over the years that spend a ton of time and money and effort and blood and treasure on the courts. We're talking millions of dollars. We're talking armies of volunteers and workers, everything from Judicial Watch to the Federalist Society, Cato, Heritage. You have many of their guests on your show all the time. These are legal scholars, constitutional scholars, experts in their own right, and they've been echoing what I've been saying. And it's why a lot of people voted, right? At putting aside all of Donald Trump's tweets and personality, if you couldn't get past that, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. I love the guy's policies. I love what he's done to freaking save the country and make it great again. And he's doing it right before our very eyes in the middle of a global pandemic. But if all that stuff about his personality bothered you, then you needed to think about, and a lot of Americans did, about the fact that he was going to have multiple, I don't know if any of us ever predicted 3 in the first term, multiple Supreme Court justices. And he was going to appoint, look at the people he's appointed, young people, by Supreme Court justice standards, young people, brilliant legal minds who are going to serve on that court for generations. And if the Democrats stop threatening to break the rules, actually threatening to break the Constitution like they have the last few years, because they can't win by the current set of rules. They can't win elections, right? They couldn't win the U.S. Senate during the blue wave. They couldn't win the presidential election after 8 years of Barack Obama. People rejected their policies legislatively and in the executive branch. So they want to destroy the Electoral College and replace that with some gobbledygook. They want to pack the court. They want to break our institutions, break our Constitution. So if they don't do that, then you're going to potentially have, at the very least, looks like a 5-4 on almost every case, 6-3 on many cases. And if Donald Trump gets reelected, potentially a 6-3 for a very long time, and maybe even another one. Who knows? Look what's happened. So Donald Trump has appointed well north of 200, maybe approaching 300 federal court judges. And he made the point last night. One of the reasons I was able to do that, Joe, was because you and Barack didn't do your job. You left 170 vacancies for me to fill. So I've done all those. Then I've done more. Annie, did you know that the once known as, the heretofore known as Ninth Circus, which is what they called the Ninth Circuit out in California, now has a conservative majority at many of its levels in the federal courts?
It's crazy.
That's emblematic. If he's done that to California, you can imagine what all the other circuits look like now. They have largely conservative majorities. And here's the other beautiful thing. Those conservative district court judges are definitely eligible to get moved up to the Circuit Court of Appeals in all the districts. And the Circuit Court of Appeals judges, a lot of them are going to be available to move up to the Supreme Court someday. So a beautiful farm team. Donald Trump would say that, right? A beautiful farm team has been created. And Annie, these are people who are not going to make the law from the bench, as Justice Coney Barrett, as Judge Coney Barrett, hopefully soon Justice Coney Barrett has said. They're going to look at the text of the Constitution, the original intent, and they're going to apply it to the laws that are passed by Congress. And they're going to try to rule appropriately with an eye back towards the brilliant minds of the founders. The founders looked around the world and they experienced the tyranny of a government system run by King George. They looked at other famous governmental constructs going back to ancient Rome and ancient Egypt and everything else. They tried to take the best elements of all of those, and they created this beautiful thing, this experiment of representative democracy that has stood the test of time for well over 2 centuries, and hopefully for many more centuries to come. So it's not dated. It's not old. It's not something to be trifled with. Lawrence Tribe, the famous constitutional lawyer, very activist, liberal professor, he basically said in response to a conservative attack, I forget who was it wasn't Hans von Spakovsky, it was somebody else you have on the show, and they basically said, look, where is it in the Constitution that we can't confirm Amy Coney Barrett to Supreme Court right now? And Lawrence Tribe said, well, it's not in the Constitution. Sometimes the Constitution is stupid. He actually said that. Because Annie, that's what activist judges believe, that the Constitution can be malleable, that it can be changed. And you're going to have Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Coney Barrett and Clarence Thomas, and I think I'm forgetting somebody. And then sometimes you're going to have Justice Roberts, right? Sometimes you're going to have Roberts. So you're going to have a minimum of 5 justices who are in the mold of Antonin Scalia. And you may have Roberts from time to time, which gives you 6. That's why the left is completely freaked out. It's not just one thing. It's Obamacare. Yes. It's making sure that Roe v. Wade, if it does stand, only stands in a very narrow way. That is horrible ruling. It needs to be overthrown, but I understand the problems with that. So maybe something else happens there. But like Amy Coney Barrett said, we need to stop having taxpayer-funded abortions. That should definitely be part of the law, right?
Yeah, it's such a huge impact that is going to be felt for a very long time, because Mitch McConnell has really taken this up as a charge, and Trump did say last night, you left these vacancies open, and he reiterated that he's president for 4 years, not 3. I don't know that that's going to satisfy the folks on the left who wanted Merrick Garland, but I will always remind people that Donald Trump, or that Barack Obama still did nominate somebody. That part of it is the same. Tim, we're going to be tuning in. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so to answer your question, that was a long answer, but short. Donald Trump has had more effect on the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court for the next many generations, probably than any president before him in modern times. Wow. And it's been in the right way that constitutional conservatives were now reminded of this last week. This is the reason to go back to the polls in 30 days. And that's why the Amy Coney Barrett nomination is so important to election 2020.
Tim Jones will be listening Sunday, 7 to 9 p.m. And always this post-game debate coverage that you and Tony and Rodney and everybody was doing last night was fantastic to listen to. Can't wait to talk to you again next week about the next stuff, because, man, it's coming fast these days.
Well, your watch parties look a little more fun than ours. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I think that they might be. You can come.
We didn't have a bowl of bourbon slush, so.
We did. Tell Tony Colombo that you're ditching him for the whiskey slush party next time.
I never thought I'd be jealous of Ryan Wiggins, but I just said it.
I like it.
No, I kind of
way to end on a high note. Yeah. All right, we're gonna take.
See y'all soon.
Yep, see you soon, Tim. We're gonna take a quick break, and we are gonna be back with. Let's talk about the party last night.
Talk
about it.
Heck yeah.
Ryan came to my house for the first time and the last time. No, just kidding.
That was it.
I'm exhausted.
All we're saying to each other is we're so tired. Yeah. I didn't get to, aside from all of the festivities and the mind-numbingness of the debate last night, I couldn't fall asleep. I should have just been stupefied into the best sleep of my life, but nope. I was awake till 3:45, and I feel like a zombie. I was like messaging people who I know who might be out and about around where I live. Like, could you put a Diet Mountain Dew from the gas station on my porch?
Were you nervous that you made a bad impression on me? Is that why you couldn't go sleep?
Nailed it, Ryan.
I got to take a break.
I can tell you how I feel about that when we come back. Was that a tease? You got a sense?
I got a sense about that.
Let's talk about it. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to give Ryan some really rough news in just a minute.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Our homes are where we feel the most happy, safe, and secure. So when we see cracked drywall, uneven floors, or other signs of foundation settlement, we want to make sure that it's repaired right and fixed forever. At Woods Basement Systems, we understand. We're a family business that's been eliminating foundation worries since 1986. And once we repair your home, we stand behind it with a transferable life of the home warranty. So the next family who lives there will also enjoy the same peace of mind. So if you're having foundation problems, learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com. That's woodsbasementsystems.com. Or call toll free at 800-388-9326 for a free estimate. That's 800-388-9326. Woods Basement Systems, because foundation problems don't get better with time, they get better with us. The all things basement experts at woodsbasementsystems.com.
We are Woods, we fix basements for your peace of mind.
That's woodsbasementsystems.com.
CA Jones is the largest Metro East home builder, which means if you are looking to build a home in the Metro East, you need to make sure that you check out cajonesinc.com before you choose who your builder is going to be. Let me tell you why I think CA Jones deserves that phone call and that conversation with you. They are so good at being transparent with their buyers, and they are so good at customizing homes the way you want. The finishes that they have are beautiful. The houses that they build are stunning. And when I've walked through each and every one of them, I've been so impressed with how unique each home is and how well they built the house for the buyer. That's you. So if you are interested in purchasing or building, I should say, a home in the Metro East, here's the number to call, 618-777-6080. You can also text them at 618-777-6080 and ask about the CA Jones Easy Buy program. No 20% down, no interest payments while your home is being built. Any of those headaches that are with a traditional construction loan, you don't have to worry about it with CA Jones. Find out more online at cajonesinc.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There are new things to think about every day.
History of our country.
If 2020 has your head on a swivel, we're here to help. I'm Listening is a mental health self-checkup. And if you missed the live broadcast, you can still get the audio at imlistening.org. 97.1 FM Talk. Helping you stay connected to news and resources. Visit imlistening.org. The Dave Glover Show.
There's no doubt that the mail-ins are going to favor Biden, but there's definite doubt that he could come back and catch him.
Right.
But they're saying it's how it's going to go. What an S show that's going to be.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
We've come a long, long way together. Through the hard times and the good, I have to celebrate you, baby. I have to praise you like I should.
So I'm reading through my Google stories here, and I've got a suggestion here for one I might like to read from MSNBC.com, because, you know, Google really knows me. I think actually they do know me, and they're trying to change me. I think that this is not a good relationship. Mm-hmm. Here's the headline: Fallout from first debate after Trump refuses to condemn white supremacy groups. That's not true. That's not a true statement. Am I wrong? Like, do you feel like, did Donald Trump, Katie, we played that clip multiple times here and we watched it happen live last night. Did Trump refuse to condemn white supremacy groups?
No, he said, I will do it. He was asked and he said, sure. And then he said, I will condemn them, or something along those lines. But then he just dropped the ball so badly. And for all of the times and all of the clips that we have played of Trump condemning KKK and condemning white supremacists before this is the time that America's eyeballs were glued to you. You had everyone's attention and you dropped the ball. Just say it clearly so that nobody can misinterpret what you're saying. But Brian, he did say it twice before that.
Yeah, he did. He said, sure. I wrote it down here. He said, sure. And then he said,
I will. He said, sure, twice,
I'm willing
I think,
to do it.
He
said, sure. And then Chris Wallace repeated the question. He said, sure, I'm willing to do it. And then he also said, I just want peace. Do Do you think Ryan, do you think he failed to condemn white supremacy last night?
No, he did fine. I disagree with both of you actually on this.
Really?
I think he did completely fine. In the moment when we were watching that, nobody thought, he didn't answer that question. Like when Biden was asked about packing the courts, he completely avoided that question on purpose. Trump didn't do that. He just didn't say the exact phrase that we all know that the liberal media was going to grab and run with. Because if you read it on paper, he gave them some material to work with. But if you watch it like we did and we heard it, I don't think he did anything wrong.
Let me also add in too that the idea that Trump needed to be pressed to condemn white supremacy, they should have asked Joe Biden to do the same.
Yeah.
There's no reason. There really is no fact-based reason to ask Donald Trump to prove to America that he's actually not a racist any more than you should ask the man who said that you are going to vote for him based on your frigging skin color. I mean, there are so many recent comments, not like dig it up out of the, 1840s. Apparently, if you did that 180 years math of when Joe Biden actually started in the Senate, there are recent comments that Joe Biden made. And here's the worst part. Whenever you hear somebody, if somebody, we've had here locally, somebody flubbed words and said something that sounded like a racist remark. The major criticism that comes from one side of that conversation is he said it because it's in his vocabulary. He let it slip through his filter on air. If these words come out of your mouth one time, then they come out of your mouth all of the time. Does that apply to Joe Biden? When Joe Biden is saying, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. I mean, that's mind-boggling stuff. Why is it that it is a Chris Wallace question to pose to Donald Trump? Trump, I need you to prove to America you're not racist, and I need you to condemn white supremacy right now. I'd be like, last week, I declared KKK a terrorist organization. That's obviously Trump failed, in my opinion, on this. Miserably. Ryan's, you disagree, and I respect that. But my point is, no more should Trump have to be posed and pressed on that question with Trump chirping in on Biden when Biden is pressed with the exact same question. If you want to go there, there's grounds to go there on both. And of course they didn't. I mean, Chris Wallace, gosh, it frustrates me every time I think about it.
You could say that he failed in light of the environment that we live in, knowing that he's standing above a shark tank waiting to chomp on anything that he drops. It's just that when you take it at face value and you watch the moment itself, when we were watching it last night, we didn't all go, oh man, he really dropped the ball. He seemed to just be in the moment. He was saying, and you know what he's going to do?
I thought he dropped the ball.
Did you at the moment?
Well, you couldn't talk about it because there was so much yelling and screaming taking place at one time. No, I think that was initially something that people saw and was like, this is not good. And it wasn't so much what he was saying. It was what he wasn't saying.
Yes.
That I'm going, dude, this is your chance. Take a big swing. You've got this one. It's your pitch and you know that it's coming. What?
And it went by so fast.
Yes.
It was on to the next thing, like lickety split on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It did, but I think in that moment when you hear him say, sure, yeah, I will. That to me was him saying, of course. And then name a group and what Joe Biden said, Proud Boys. He said, okay, well, Proud Boys, back off, and he didn't
say back off.
He said stand down.
Back. No, he didn't. He said stand by.
Stand down and stand by.
Stand back.
Or stand back and stand by.
Which is different than stand down. And he said that because he was running his mouth and he was more interested in the defense of that situation than the offense, where he could have gone all in on what he has done, his record, and I mean, we can agree to disagree on this, but I think it was the worst moment in the debate for Donald Trump. And I do believe that Trump still has the opportunity to come out. I mean, he's got the biggest following on Twitter, make a video and explain and use the people who can vouch for it, that I said use, and people are going to have their mind blown by that. But, get your team together and exemplify how you should have said it. And I mean, it's never going to happen, but take a second shot at it and see if you can own it. Because I know people who people are texting me today saying, what do you think about this? And it's a test for me. When people text me that, they want to know, Annie, are you going to defend this? That's a question about my character. If I'm willing to back up what Trump said. And, you know, some of these conversations, they end with, okay, we agree to disagree, but I love you. That's basically the way most of these conversations go. And if somebody's going to text me and call me on this and make me eat Trump's words, I'm not going to eat them. I think he made a big mistake. I don't know. Yeah,
I agree. He could come out on Twitter and make something very awesome about his record on these issues right now, and that would solve it. But he hasn't.
I want to talk about the event last night. Katie and Ryan and I have not been in the same room since March. So that was the first time last night that we had actually all been in the same place at the same time. And, you know, Katie, you got to see my studio that I've been broadcasting from. Ryan, too, for the first time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird to like spend as much time together with each other that we do. We probably spend, aside from the people living in our houses, we spend the most time together. It was really good to get together last night and see each other.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I think we're all tired today a little bit because we had so much fun more than anything.
Oh yeah. I was, it's just crazy that I haven't seen you guys. It's 7 months. I haven't seen you guys. And like, then we all got in the room together and I'm like, wow. So this is what you guys look like, that not on a screen. Like, this is who you got. Okay. Hi again. And then of course, like the night goes on and we all fall into like this goofy, fun, bombastic pattern again, where that's what we were like in the studio. And it was just so nice. And I think the slushes had a lot to do with it. So that was great.
How good was the Stumpy's whiskey slush?
Fun.
How good was it?
Good. So good.
Dude, that's a preferred drink now. I mean, I just told you in the break how much I love ices, and that's pretty much the alcoholic version of an icy.
If you're interested in the recipe, we posted it to the Annie Fry Show Facebook page, and we also have a video that we did a couple nights ago of Jared and I making it. And you guys also got to have Jared's chili.
Wow.
I got sent home with some leftovers. What? Eating it tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
4 bowls.
4 bowls?
I had 2.
Yeah. Every time there was some sort of pause, Ryan was up getting food, and then he sat right over my shoulder and ate it in my ear.
That's right.
Did you notice that, Katie?
I did, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to. I didn't want to say anything to you so that you noticed it. You know, when people do that, I was like, you know what?
I was just happy that you enjoyed the chili.
Now I feel super self-conscious. I did not even know I was doing that. I was just eating a lot of food.
That's what makes you so perfect, Brian, is that like you were having a blast. You were having a good old time.
And a 4th bowl of chili. And then the kids made cookies. They were so good. It was such a fun night. And I will remember, it's funny because I will remember that this debate night fondly. And that's in spite of the debate, which was, it's like, this is like Super Bowl stuff for me. I'm glad that I can put that all aside and enjoy the time and the company that we got to spend to each other. And we're going to do it again. We're going to keep doing it. So make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube, the Annie Fry YouTube page and the Annie Fry Facebook page, because we had a ton of fun with you guys. I was laughing so hard reading your comments in bed last night. My goodness. We'll be back with Adam Schuster with the Illinois Policy Institute.
Hey, Chris here to talk about CertaPro Painters. Are you still putting off that painting project? Well, I was too until I reached out to CertaPro Painters, and I can tell you the whole process was worry-free from the initial meeting to the final cleanup. CertaPro Painters brought a level of professionalism and efficiency that is unrivaled. Plus, they treated my property like it was their own. And get this, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. That's right, they're a local business you can support. Schedule your free estimate online today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
It's that time of year again, where an afternoon thunderstorm can pop out of nowhere, bringing damaging winds and power outages. At Spire, we know life doesn't stop just because the power did. Thankfully, you can depend on natural gas water heaters and stoves no matter how long the power is out. And right now, choose a natural gas water heater and get up to a $300 rebate at spireenergy.com/rebates. Now that's fuel for good.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Fall is here and the housing market is still blazing hot. What's driving the housing market? Super low interest rates. Mortgage rates are in the 2s, and that means you have more buying power. You can buy a bigger home for less money. If you've been thinking about buying a new home or even a second home or investment property, now's the time. Get pre-approved today in 5 minutes at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Mark Cox here. If you need to drop a few pounds, call my friends at Slim 180. Get back in shape, feel great, keep the weight off. You can use their traditional program, the medically supervised HCG Rapid Weight Loss, or the new Quick Start LipoLean. I use the HCG Rapid Weight Loss program, and the weight dropped off in a hurry, sometimes 1.5 pounds a day. All the Slim 180 centers are following COVID-19 guidelines to keep you safe. They've got gloves and masks and plexiglass dividers. You work with their counselors and their doctors one-on-one, either in person or remotely. They can even mail you products or have curbside pickup. You can schedule your free consultation today. They also work with flex spending and health savings account cards. 6 locations: O'Fallon, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, Creve Coeur, Chesterfield, and Florissant. Visit them online today and set up your initial appointment at myslim180.com.
Save big money in your next project right now at Menards. Renovate the bathroom of your dreams with Max at Menards. With 50 years of experience manufacturing bathroom products like bathtubs and showers, Max is an industry leader. All Max products are 11% off. Start saving today on everything you need. Prices are good until October 3rd. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money. KFTK FM Florissant. K254CR St. Louis. Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk. A radio.com station.
They can't have a do-over. Lisa Brady, Fox News. But there might be changes to avoid a repeat of the contentious first meeting between the president and Joe Biden.
The Commission on Presidential Debates is considering format changes for the remaining debates after last night's chaotic debate in which President Trump repeatedly disregarded the rules. In a statement, the commission saying last night's debate made clear that additional structure should be added to the format of the remaining debates to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. Changing the structure of the debates last minute is highly unusual, and it's unclear exactly what changes the commission will adopt and whether the candidates will agree to them.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. The candidates are criticizing each other's performances. Biden on a train tour in Ohio and Pennsylvania today, while the president is heading to Minnesota. And he told reporters just moments ago he doesn't know who the Proud Boys are, but that he's concerned about any form of crime, including from right-wing militias. Critics say the president failed to state that firmly enough and condemn white supremacists when given the chance during the debate. A last-ditch effort for a new stimulus bill. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin renewed negotiations on a potential compromise on additional coronavirus relief. But Senate Majority Leader Republican Mitch McConnell says the two sides remain very far apart.
The thought that Senate Republican would go up to $2.2 trillion is outlandish.
Barring a breakthrough, House Democrats are preparing to vote on a roughly $2.2 trillion relief measure, $1 trillion less than a comprehensive package passed in May that Republicans say included spending on non-pandemic programs. Lisa.
No hope for a bill helping to rally Wall Street an hour to the close. The Dow's up 392. America's listening to Fox News.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
For years, I paid too much for Medicare without receiving the benefits I deserved. eHealth changed that. They helped me get more benefits and free up extra cash each month. Whether you're already on Medicare or it's your first time, get professional advice by calling 1-800-319-1899 for a free plan review with no obligation to enroll. One call can make a big difference. 1-800-319-1899.
Calls connect to eHealth Insurance Services, a licensed health insurance agency with plans from many insurance companies. This ad is not affiliated with Medicare. Benefits and coverage not available in all areas.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's a little bit warmer this afternoon, 78 degrees tonight.
Clear skies dropping back into the upper 60s fairly quickly during the evening hours. 45 for the overnight low. Thursday, sunny and 65. Friday, sunny, 62. And Saturday, partly sunny, 65 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny, 65. Will be some showers and thunderstorms, though, around Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
You can't use your timeshare. They're closing the resorts, canceling reservations, and preventing owners from booking new reservations. Meanwhile, you're forced to keep paying maintenance, mortgage, and assessment fees. And forget about even getting there to begin with. Does your timeshare company care? Of course not. They're taking advantage of you. It's not right, and you want out. Whether you bought decades ago or days ago, Timeshare Freedom Group can help. Timeshare Freedom Group's freedom process has helped thousands of people just like you get free from their overpriced, unavailable timeshares. We're the leaders in the industry with decades of experience canceling timeshares worldwide, legally and permanently. And we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. Start the freedom process now by calling Timeshare Freedom Group at 844-47-CANCEL. That's 844-47-CANCEL. 844-47-CANCEL. TimeshareFreedomGroup.com.
Timeshare Freedom Group, we set you free.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law, been around since 1974. The experts when it comes to doing your estate planning needs. Now, when you call for your free consultation, if you haven't done any estate planning or if you haven't had any done or looked at in the last 3 years, they're going to hook you up with a free consultation for free. When you call, just mention you heard about it on the Annie Fry Show, 636-946-7899. That's 636-946-7899. Do you know exactly what you want? You've got it all figured out. You know what's going where or maybe who is going where. That's great. But a lot of people don't start this process because they have no idea what they need to think about, and maybe it's uncomfortable to think about. The folks at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law are going to walk you through that process and make it comfortable for you and make you confident in your decisions. And they are going to allow you that gigantic relief, that peace of mind at the end of the process that you took care of something, that you made the responsible decision to go through with this, and you'll be done. And then they'll help you manage it from there on out. 636-946-7899. Give them a call. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you do. BeckElderLaw.com.
I'm listening daily. You are not alone. During these challenging times, listening is fundamental to promoting understanding and healing. Here's Alanis Morissette on dealing with panic attacks.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks. 9:30 p.m. would be like, okay, cue the panic attack. And at first I did what I normally do, which is just freak out and try to figure out a way to escape my body. But then I started getting very somatic experiencing it with it, like very curious about all the sensations. Like, okay, so if I do know that I'm not going to die and have a heart attack in the middle of this panic attack, which of course we think we are going to have, I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath and my jaw, and it's just survival strategy. It's cortisol cooking nonstop. Chronic stress is trauma.
To hear the 2-hour I'm Listening special in its entirety, and for additional details, go to imlistening.org.
It's Decision 2020. And radio.com has you covered. Download the app for the very best discussion on your favorite programs on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. How are you guys all doing after do you feel like you have a hangover because of the debate last night? I don't even care what you were drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like sticking with you and you're kind of trying to shake it? You know, do you think that the next debate's going to be significantly different? We do have from the Commission on Presidential Debates saying that they are going to put in measures to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues.
It better be different than what we saw last night. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I just think Trump will watch himself and then he'll adjust. So I do think it'll be different.
Yeah, I think that whatever they implement, we were discussing like possibilities, like maybe they'd install a drop floor or they'll lower them with an inch for every time you interrupt. Joe Biden would have a disadvantage because I think Trump's probably got 3 or 4 inches on him in height because Trump's super tall. I don't know how tall Joe Biden is, but and once you've gone lower than the floor, you just leave. You're just done. And we're all done. Wouldn't that be more entertaining?
I don't know how they would incorporate it, but I would love to see them too have the walls with like the spiky things coming out of them and they slowly close.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah. I don't know what, is it based on points that they're making or what? But I would like to see that in some capacity.
Some listeners that are commenting, here's Kevin says, how about shot collars? Also very aggressive. Very aggressive tendencies. People have a feeling of some kind of way here.
What about like an obnoxious buzzer that goes off whenever they start it's too much? It's like
I fear implementing measures that would make the experience more obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
it has
that's
to be
true.
obnoxious.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like a timeout chair. How about that? Like a child's timeout chair that's, half the size of their butt that they got to try to sit on and their knees are up to their chin and they got to sit there and have shame.
They
Turn
have
around,
to sit on
face
it
the
in that
wall.
fashion.
Yeah.
You can't just have a timeout chair. You also have to sit. You have to put your whole body up off the stage.
And you have to sit it right next to the person who's not in timeout and face them and look at what you've done.
Oh, I like that.
Am I sounding like a mother?
Just a little bit.
Can you ground them? Can you take away their toys? Can you
Take away
limit
their cell
screen
phone.
time? Might take away the Twitter. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but the Commission for Presidential Debates has announced today that it plans to implement changes to rules for the remaining debates after what Axios calls Tuesday night's head-to-head between Joe Biden and Donald Trump was practically incoherent for most of the night, according to Axios there. All right, I want to get to our guest. I want to talk to Adam Schuster with the Illinois Policy Institute. In the midst of a debate season and an election season and a Supreme Court nomination season, oh yes, we still have COVID. It is still there. And the financial burden facing individuals and business owners, taxpayers, and states remains. And Illinois is no different than that. Adam, it's great to have you back. Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So I don't know if you want to talk about any implementations for the debate that you would like to see that would be fun. If not, we can talk about the economic crisis that Illinois is facing regarding this COVID-19 federal aid to states. We hear a lot of Democrats and the governor saying that they need the help from the federal government. The financial burden is too great. And a lot of people on the red side of the aisle saying that's never going to happen. What's your thoughts on this and what needs to happen?
Well, I will, first of all, I'm not going to comment on the presidential debate, but just to let everybody know, anyone who's in the Lincoln Lobby in particular, that's the activist group on Facebook, I will be having a debate of my own tonight with Ralph Martiri on the progressive income tax. You can find that information on Facebook in the Lincoln Lobby, and hopefully it'll go a little smoother than the debate did last night. But as for the taxpayer protection program, you're right. There, in the midst of the presidential election and all the drama going on about the Supreme Court, we still have, negotiations going on in Congress over the next round of relief funding for state and local aid. And Democrats have staked out a fairly extreme position, which is that they want somewhere between $500 billion and $1 trillion in blank check bailouts for state and local governments. And Republicans have been unwilling to do that. They're very worried about bailing out, mismanaged states like Illinois, who are in a lot more trouble than other states because of their own mismanagement, because of decisions made by politicians here. So we've come up with what we think is a solution, a principled compromise on this issue that would offer states money, but offer it as forgivable loans rather than grants. So similar to the Paycheck Protection Program, which offered businesses money if they promised to keep their workers, they could get that money forgiven. This offers states money, and the forgiveness is contingent on them adopting sound practices for budgets and finances that are nonpartisan and should be non-controversial. And states can get this money forgiven if they commit to having a sound pension system, a truly balanced budget, and a sufficient rainy day fund so that for future emergencies, they have a little bit of a cushion to save on their own.
Adam Schuster, Senior Budget and Tax Research Director at Illinois Policy, on the phone with us. Adam, is federal bailout money, regardless of whether it comes with strings attached or comes at all, is that a cure-all? Is that going to fix everything for Illinois' budget?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's no way that the federal government can be expected to bail out all of Illinois' problems. Certainly, it can't be expected to bail out legacy debt or problems that, come from years of mismanagement that have nothing to do with COVID-19. And so this act, the Taxpayer Protection Act, prohibits the money from being used for debt service or the service of any pension debt or other type of retirement debt. And it limits the amount of money states can get to the amount of money they actually lost. And it measures that based on how much they have coming in this year versus how much they had for the same period last year. So it's really tailored to making sure that, we help states with legitimate expenses that are related to COVID-19, that are related to business shutdowns, the lost income, and the high unemployment. Because what we don't want is we don't want states to be cutting education or cutting healthcare, certainly not cutting their police budgets. At the local level. And so what this program is intended to do is fund those essential services, but make sure the money goes towards its intended purpose and doesn't allow, the bad actors, the people who have mismanaged their finances to cover up those past holes.
We're speaking with Adam Schuster with the Illinois Policy Institute, really expert on all the numbers and being able to put them into coherent sentences in ways that I couldn't. It was always great to have you on here with us. I want to ask you, if you don't mind, about the statement from the Pritzker administration regarding the imminent increase of our taxes if we do not pass his progressive income tax. Pritzker's fair tax is how it is being pushed to make everybody feel warm and fuzzy about it. But what was the number? He said we're going to have to raise your taxes 20%. If you don't pass this,
right.
This is what we're going to do. Sounds like a threat to me. And when he's threatening the taxpayers and the voters, and that's backed by the millions and millions and millions of his own dollars that he's investing in trying to persuade people to vote yes on this, it makes me very concerned.
Yeah, it should make you very concerned, and frankly, it should make people angry. I think it's entirely inappropriate for a governor to be, threatening taxpayers to try to change the outcome of an election. But ironically, I think it's going to backfire. I think that people should call their bluff. It's very hard to raise everyone's taxes 20% with a flat tax system. That's why the flat tax is a protection, because the lawmakers who voted for that know they would be voted out of office. It would be political suicide. But I think what it really speaks to is their motivation. They've been telling us all along that this tax plan is intended to reduce taxes for the working poor. It's intended to reduce taxes for the middle class. And they've been saying that's their motivation. If that was their motivation, they would not be threatening tax hikes on the working poor. They would not be threatening tax hikes in the middle class. And by the way, when they issued that threat, Lieutenant Governor Stratton admitted that people can't afford it, admitted that it would drive businesses and investment out of our state. But they seem to be saying, despite those harms, despite the fact that we know this is a bad idea, we want the money anyway, and we're willing to go forward with it anyway. So I think what they just proved is that they're looking to get more of Illinois' hard-earned tax dollars however they can. And you absolutely should not trust these people with more taxing authority, because the progressive tax would make it easier for them to go after the middle class. And they just told you that they're willing to do it.
So, Adam, the other thing that I see coming up in conjunction with the progressive income tax or the fair tax, it's the same thing, folks, is this very polarized understanding about a vote yes on this tax. Would it allow the state of Illinois to have easier access to taxing people's retirement income? Because it is definitely out there from Pritzker and the Democrats who are serving right now that is a myth and a lie. And they're very aggressive at saying there is nothing that allows the progressive income tax to get access to taxing your retirement. And then there are other people who are advocating it absolutely does. What's the truth?
So I think Frankly, Pritzker and other Democrats, they don't have an issue with us. They don't have an issue with people who are saying this now. Who they should be taking this issue up with is other backers of the fair tax. They should be taking this up with Daniel Biss, the former Democratic state senator and candidate for governor, with Michael Frerichs, the current Democratic treasurer, because the idea that this makes it easier to tax retirement income did not come out of the Illinois Policy Institute first. It came from proponents of the idea. People who want you to vote yes admitted that this makes it easier to tax retirement income. So you can look at their words and then look at the fact that they're running away from that now, and it's very easy to figure out what's going on. This does make it easier to tax retirement income. Prominent backers of this idea have admitted that. Democrats have been trying to tax retirement income in this state for a number of years, but now they're trying to hide that fact. And they're trying to run away from what they were saying just a few months ago because the election's coming up, and they realize that taxing retirement income is very unpopular, and that if people realize the truth, that the progressive income tax does make it easier to tax retirement income, then they're going to vote no. And so they're trying to run away, and they're trying to hide their true intentions once again. And I think people should be very worried that the people pushing this tax plan feel the need to constantly mislead and change their own statement.
And one last question before we run out of time here. Every time I get an ad in the mail for the progressive income tax, which I'm getting way more ads for it than I am against it, they all are these very nicely produced candy-colored ads that say nothing about the fact that this is a constitutional amendment. On the actual vote, on the ballot itself, is it going to say that this is a constitutional amendment, and will it be clearer than those ads are portraying it?
Yes. So very clearly on the ballot, I believe it'll be the first question. It is marked as a constitutional amendment. A yes vote is a yes for higher taxes. A no vote is a no for higher taxes, a no for changing the Constitution. But unfortunately, that ballot language does include some misleading information, some just factually inaccurate information that we would argue violates the free and fair election clause of the Illinois Constitution, such as saying that the tax plan allows them to impose higher rates on higher income earners. That's not true. The amendment itself allows them to impose any rate on any income earner. If they wanted, they could impose higher rates on people who make less income, but it's certainly not true that the amendment only gives them the power to tax people with higher incomes at higher rates. So it will be clearly marked as a constitutional amendment, and people need to understand that no is a no on higher taxes, yes is a yes to higher taxes.
Well, we are grateful for your insight here, and I just want to make sure people get those facts and have the information to back up when they are discussing this, because it's such an important issue that is facing so many Illinois voters, taxpayers, and it certainly is no different right now. Adam, thank you. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep, we'll do it again. Senior Budget and Tax Research Director at Illinois Policy. Quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Senator Roy Blunt. I'm going to ask him about the Amy Coney Barrett nomination and confirmation process, and we'll maybe see if he's been paying any attention to what Comey has been saying in the Senate today. And I don't know what else. Probably going to ask him about the debate, see what he thinks about that. Stick around. We're going to speak with Senator Roy Blunt in just a minute.
Should I keep it light? Stay out of the fight. No one's gonna listen to me.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
What is wrong? We don't say let me sing on TV. Should I keep it light? Is that right?
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
There's a big red barn where you say green. Norm's Bargain Barn. Discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Country Wood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn with locations in Shiloh and Penton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
Stewart's American Mortgage is available at 314-324-4440. You need to call him. You need to ask him about the bagel loan. The bagel loan is called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero, and you're going to pay zero in fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. Let's talk about why now is the time. Now, I'm not going to get too into the weeds because I can't explain it in super duper detail, but I do understand that the government is assessing a fee on refinances and at December 1st. And it's when everything is closed that December 1st deadline comes into play. Stewie is super fast at turnarounds. If you call Stewie today and you want to get that refi done, he's going to get it turned around before December 1st. You're going to save money, again, working with Stewie. A lot of other big banks can't make that promise, which means those fees are probably going to hit you down the line. Work with Stewart's American Mortgage, just like I did a year ago, and shorten the length of your loan or lower the amount on your monthly payments and get some of these ridiculously low rates locked in right now. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Here's a great review of Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance from Terry. He says, we've had only the best experiences with Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. The service people are always friendly, courteous, reliable, completely knowledgeable, and very professional. As retired people, we have the peace of mind and confidence that our entire home is being well looked after, and we've discovered that if anything goes wrong, Upkeep is there, sometimes within hours. There you have it, folks. When you sign up with Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance, you're not just getting a home warranty. You're getting their team of technicians who come out to your home 4 times a year to make sure everything is running smoothly and to make things easier on you. And like Terry said, if there's an issue, they are going to fix it so quickly because they already have a handle on the situation. You've forged this relationship over time, and you can trust your home to Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Code DGS gets you $100 off at upkeepstl.com.
Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Fry, Dave Glover, Sean Hannity. Listen on the radio.com app and rewind whenever you'd like. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind at radio.com.
They won't leave me alone. I need a shadow to hold in the wall. 'Cause baby, I don't know what kind of state I'm in. We got a ways to go. I've been around this whole town by now. And I can tell you how you're
I wasn't
supposed
talking
to
about
be.
Joe Biden as the part that I was unsure about. I was talking about the moderator who did not have control of the debate stage for much of the evening, who didn't remind the president that he was violating the rules till 1 hour and 13 minutes into the debate.
Well, I think that there was a lot of violation. I feel like the American people might have been violated last night after having to be subjected to that debate. And it's frustrating to have this big golden opportunity in front of us to clarify where we are on the issues, where we are on our votes, our candidates that we want to support, and to feel like you kind of come away empty-handed. And I hope that whatever the election, the debate commission decides to do to implement some measures to make it, I guess, in their words, more coherent, I am looking forward to that. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and the debate certainly is one of those things. But we also have a nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, and the Senate is facing that right now. And we have Senator Roy Blunt on with us at this very moment. Senator, thank you so much for the time today. We are very grateful for it.
Annie, great to be with you. And there is a lot going on, but I don't know that any of it has more long-term consequences at this moment than the Supreme Court and the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett. She was on my short list the last time there was a vacancy. I was pleased to see the president make that choice. And I think the Democrats are going to have to be very careful that they don't play this hand in a way that backfires on them. You know, if they start talking about her religion as some kind of obstacle, when in fact, in many ways is so affirming, or the fact that she's a working mom, that was the big shock to both Abby and I on the day after the announcement and the day or so after that. Well, how could this woman with school-age children possibly be a justice on the Supreme Court? It was just almost stupefying that anybody could want to open that door. And I said, well, I'm sure that when Antonin Scalia with 9 kids, most of them still school age, was nominated, nobody suggested he couldn't do the job because they had kids at home. It was just outrageous. And even more outrageous, of course, was the attacks that started with her circuit judge confirmation on the dogma lives in you. You know, there may be I'm sure there's a good way to use dogma, but I've never heard it used in a good way. Yeah. And I've been thinking if you just could have inserted the right word there, your faith burns brightly in you. I mean, it's a great compliment to her. And we'll let Bill Maher and all of those people who seem to know so much about everything make fun of faith if they want to, but that's not where Missourians are, and it's not where America is.
I'm glad you brought up that part about her being a working mother, because I have 3 children that are 10 and under, and I have a demanding career. It was a lot more demanding outside of COVID, of course, but you know, I'm constantly faced with questions about my ability to balance my responsibilities, the most important responsibility I have as a mother, with this opportunity to bring, you know, Senator Blunt to the people of Missouri to talk about the important issues. But I've been able to balance it, and I have the responsibility to do so. And it was supposed to be, it seems like, the other party, that the one that I don't belong to, that was trying to tell women that they can have what they want and that they should go out and try to get it. Just seems as though when it doesn't go in their favor, all of a sudden the criticism is back on the table. And that hypocrisy kind of cut me deep.
Well, I thought so too. I thought it was stunning. It tries to reverse so much of where our society has come in the last few years, and to even inject that into the discussion was just an embarrassment for everybody, particularly those advocates for equality and rights and opportunity, to use this as an excuse for someone who has incredible capacity, who has an incredible heart, who loves her faith and her family and the law and the Constitution and the United States of America. What a great person to put on the Supreme Court of the United States.
So, Senator, when we learned of the passing of Justice Ginsburg, there was about a week that passed, and then the nomination was made. But it was a very contentious week, just the idea that the process was even going to go forward. I'm curious, since you're there on the ground in Washington, D.C., as a senator, is there a coalescence among at least Republicans in the Senate right now that this is the right thing to do, and for the country, not for the party, not for the election, but is there a confidence about the speed with which this process is going through, or is there any trepidation?
No, I think there's great confidence in it. And in fact, you don't have Supreme Court vacancies very often. They've occurred I think 15 times in an election year in the whole history of the country. But there's no time when your obligation as a senator and as president goes away. It's not something that for 3 years of the president's term, if his party is in control of the Senate, you can do whatever you want to. But in the fourth year, you can't do that. That's not the thing. Fortunately, I look back at a lot of my comments in 2016, and they said things like, not only would it be something that the President Obama would want to do to nominate someone to the court, but he probably has a constitutional obligation to nominate somebody to the court. And then the other half of that equation gives the Senate the obligation to decide if we want to move forward with that or not. And we did not. And almost always in the history of the country, when the White House, the president, and the Senate were in political alignment, if there was a election year vacancy to be filled, it was filled. And almost never, when there was a political difference between the White House and control of the Senate, was an election year vacancy filled. But that means both sides are doing what they're supposed to do. The president makes a nomination, and the Senate gets to decide whether to move forward or not. One form of advise and consent is just to say, no, we're not going to do this, and we'll let the voters work this out and see if they continue to send this government or a different one. Of course, in 2016, they sent a Republican president and a Republican Senate. And in 2018, after 2 Supreme Court nomination fights had been successfully concluded, they sent even more Republicans to the Senate in 2018. And there's no doubt, by the way, Annie, there is no doubt that if Chuck Schumer was in charge of the Senate, he would be, and there was a Democrat in the White House, they'd be filling that seat just like they would have filled the one in 2016 if there had been a Democrat in the White House, and there was, but there wasn't a Democrat-controlled Senate. And the opposite of that goes back to both Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, who, when there was a Republican in the White House and Democrats in control of the Senate, on 2 strongly worded different occasions, Biden once and Schumer once said, don't even think about sending a nomination up here if there's a vacancy next year in the election year. And it just happened that that vacancy never occurred. But that Democrat Senate wasn't going to confirm a Republican nominee in an election year, but they absolutely would have confirmed a nominee of their own party. And we're going to do that. I think we're going to do it in all likelihood before the election. But if we don't, we'll get to it and do it after the election. Right now, we seem on course with Chairman Graham's schedule to be able to do this the week before the election. But again, this needs to take as long as it needs to take. It needs to be in line with what we've done in the past. And then we need to have a vote. And I think we are likely to get that done in the month of October.
Senator Blunt, this is Ryan Wiggins. I wanted to ask you about your colleagues on the other side of the aisle. What are you hearing from Democrats in the Senate about the possibility of getting rid of the filibuster should they take back the White House and the Senate?
Oh, I think there's no question that they will do that. I think there's only slightly more question, probably no question that they'll try to pack the Supreme Court with enough new nominees to offset the great advances we've made in the entire court structure under President Trump. It's truly the great accomplishment of the Trump administration, not only the Supreme Court nominees, but also about 30% of all the federal judges today have been judges that were nominated by President Trump, confirmed by a Republican Senate, and most of them are in their 40s or very early 50s and are going to be there a long time. So the only way to offset that is to add judges, but that's way outside the normal bounds of what the country would find acceptable. But starting with that first question, they absolutely will change the rules. When President Obama is able in the eulogy at John Lewis's memorial service to bring up the need to change Senate rules so Democrats in the future could do whatever they wanted to, you've got to believe they're taking this so seriously that they can't even go through a funeral without mentioning it.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point. I want to get to one other subject here before we let you go. We're speaking with Senator Blunt. The news that dropped just about this time yesterday, this Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe document that has been put out about the July 2016 revelation that, according to this document, U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton had approved a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump by tying him to Putin and the Russians' hacking of the Democratic National Committee. We've got this from yesterday that was, I guess, unclassified yesterday, and then we have Comey testifying in the Senate today. I'm just curious, like, what kind of eye and ear you have on these issues, and what's your gut check feeling when you read things like this and see some of the information that is surfacing now in these documents?
Well, I'm a member of the Intelligence Committee, and I've also been a supporter of the FISA court system, to where our government could go to the FISA court, present a case as to why a warrant of some kind should be issued, so that we could listen to conversations or monitor conversations of almost always people in other countries, but sometimes people in our country who are of great concern. I think they've done a lot of damage to both the FBI and the process that the FBI has worked under. It'll be we're going to see how this plays out now, but I think the FBI is going to have to work pretty hard to get their reputation back to where people have confidence that if the FBI says it, it must be true, and that's the kind of FBI, of course, we need to have.
Senator, do you believe that there is going to be, do you know that if there's going to be more information coming out that's going to fill in some of the gaps for, us folks who don't get to see these documents behind closed doors? Is this story going to make more sense in the coming weeks?
I think both Chairman Johnson and Chairman Chairman Graham are intent on making all that information public that you can, without jeopardizing some source that would be personally endangered, or we'd eliminate our ability to get that information from that person in the future. Short of that, I suspect that before this is over, the American people will see almost everything, and I think the FBI will have some explaining to do.
We're going to be watching it very closely. Senator Blunt, we are grateful for your time and the access to be able to give you the opportunity to speak to the Missourians and the Illinoisans that are listening right now. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, great to be with you. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much. Senator Blunt joining us there. And it's like I could do an entire show on different issues that are facing us. Like, we didn't even really talk about the debate, did we? I don't think I asked him about the debate.
No, it was like you guys kind of let off with it and then just dived right into
I don't
Coney Barrett.
Like, yeah, the consequential things. That's what I wanted to get to. Let's take a quick break. We're going to wrap up the show here in just a minute, turn it over to the DGS. You're going to hear what they thought about the debate as well at 3 p.m. So stick around. You can catch us on the Facebook Live at facebook.com/Annie Fry Show, the Annie Fry YouTube page. You can stream us on the radio.com app. You can stream the whole station there. It's pretty awesome. We'll be back in a minute.
Leave me alone. I need a shadow or a hole in the wall. 'Cause baby, I don't know what kind of state I'm in.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
I've been around this whole town by now, and I can tell you how you're supposed to get out. Baby, I don't know.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hello, everybody. Sean Rimmerman. I'm your host of We're Having a Senior Moment every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk. Join us this week as we talk to one of my favorite guys, Michael Chun of Chun Insurance here in St. Louis. Guess what? It's Medicare time, and it's time to start talking about all of those things that are coming up for, thank goodness, 2021. And Mike is our favorite. Join us this Saturday at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Have you ever done a renovation on a house or like done a big spruce up on your house right before you were going to sell it to try to make it more sellable? And then you sit there and you're like, why didn't we do this before when we could have enjoyed it? That's why I want you to reach out to Lakeside Renovation and Design, because a lot of times the reason you don't do it is because you don't have the money or you don't want to spend the money. When you call Lakeside Renovation and Design, or you can look them up online, like I said, at lakesiderenovationanddesign.com, you can ask them about their 18 months interest-free financing. This makes a lot more in your reach when it comes to finally finishing that basement in a time as we go into winter, when you're going to be spending probably more time in your home during the winter than you've ever done before. You probably would really benefit from having it finished up and fixed up just the way you like. Think about living that lifestyle with that cozy new basement finish, or maybe with an addition of a bedroom, or maybe you are looking for a 3 seasons room to be able to spend some time and spread out a little bit more. You can get that with Lakeside Renovation and Design, and you can get that, like I said, with 18 months interest-free financing. Learn more online at lakesiderenovationanddesign.com.
Hi, this is Craig Jensen, trial attorney at Meyer Jensen. As in many areas of life, experience counts, and our law firm has been proud to represent thousands of people who have sustained unfortunate and serious injuries for well over 30 years. We have handled many different kinds of cases involving all types of injuries, but automobile or semi-truck accidents can be especially devastating. If you've experienced an injury from an auto or truck collision, call us. We can help. 618-463-1000, or visit us online at meyerjensen.com. That's meyerjensen.com.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income in just 5 payments? You heard right. In just 5 payments, set up a 6-figure retirement cash flow for as long as you live. There's a retirement crisis in America because the pension system of old has been raided and destroyed, and Social Security is already running out of money. Most Americans are shocked to find out they need over $2.5 million to have $100,000 in retirement. A new approach is required to solve this crisis. That's why this revolutionary 5-pay retirement program was released, allowing everyday Americans to use bank money to create a retirement cash flow without relying on Social Security or pensions. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it accelerates the amount they'll have at retirement or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement in just 5 payments, call Wealth Education Group now at 1-800-283-9595 to see if you qualify for this brand new program. Plus, as a free bonus, you'll get the 5-pay retirement guide and video. Call 800-283-9595. 1-800-283-9595. That's 1-800-283-9595.
Mark Cox here, inviting you to join Thomas Helbig, the official financial advisor of my show, for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Tuesday, October 6th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 to reserve a seat. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you concerned you won't have enough income in retirement to live comfortably? Or do you wonder how long your money will last? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older or recently furloughed, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free and protect your nest egg from any market losses? If you're nearing retirement or already retired, you don't want to miss this last event. We're taking all precautions and following the CDC guidelines to keep everyone safe and healthy. We also have the biggest room available to keep our social distancing. See you Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30 p.m.
Protect your retirement nest egg by joining Thomas Helbig at the Frontenac Hilton Tuesday, October 6th at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 or go online today at retirementkey.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Politics is a blood sport. Donald Trump gets it. Joe Biden doesn't.
Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with
nobody will show up.
People with
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Give me a word, give me a song. Show me where to look, tell me what will I find.
So what did we miss today? We've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked a lot about the debate. We had that conversation. We said, is there anything we haven't talked about the debate that like we're missing? Is there anything else that needs to be said?
No.
Man, is there anything else that needs to be said? No, but you could do 2 days on that. There was so much in that.
I would hate myself.
I would too. I would hate you.
You'd hate me too.
Yeah.
If I was you.
Can we also acknowledge the fact that these big bombshell stories, if it has a 72-hour lifespan, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Comey's testifying today. I haven't been able to because it's been during the show and right before the show, and I knew I was going to talk about the debate. So I thought I'm going to wait and just kind of consume that in total. But that's a big story. The Breonna Taylor story, that the Fox News came out and said that what was the Fox News alert, that the Attorney General is holding back on releasing some of that grand jury information.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this is, I just saw this on the break on Fox News. I think I found it first on Twitter. Now, you guys, my entire comment about the President Trump, did President Trump last night during the debate support white supremacy? No, he didn't. But he also didn't boldly enough say, hell no, I don't support white supremacy. And you asking me this question is offensive. Will you please ask Joe Biden this question after I explain to you everything that's in my platinum plan, everything that I have done with opportunity zones with Tim Scott, everything I've done with the First Step Act, everything that I am continuing to do to fund HBCU so that they don't have to come back here with their hands out every year saying, please, sir, may I have some more? And go into the litany of things that he has done for minority communities, because he has proof. He's done it. He has actions. And for whatever bogus reason, he decided not to talk about it. And I know that bothers some of you that I'm criticizing him, but I'm just going to be real with you. I'm just being honest. It is what it is. And I think that it needs to be said. And I still way prefer Trump over Biden. Speaking of opportunity zones, Tim Scott is the senator from South Carolina who led the opportunity zone discussion and made that come to fruition with the president. And he also has been very active with the president's administration and making sure that these conversations are framed in a way that is actually helpful to people, not just politically advantageous. And he was also the person who tried to lead police reform in the Senate. And the Democrats said, no, we ain't doing it. Well, Tim Scott, this is a Fox News headline. Trump's Proud Boys comment at debate sparks pushback, outrage. Tim Scott asks him to clarify. This is what I also said at the beginning of the show. President Trump whiffed in a big, fat, huge way on that comment, and he left doubt in people's minds, and he needs to clarify. He needs to resubmit an answer to that question and hope that somebody's willing to listen to it, because, you know, the first swing at this, that's out there. That's not going to be put away. Here's what Senator Scott told reporters Wednesday. He thought the president misspoke when he said, quote, stand back and stand by, but called on him to correct his statement if that really were the case. This is what he said. I think he misspoke. I think he should correct it. If he doesn't correct it, I guess he didn't misspeak. Yes, boom, right there, Senator Scott. Thank you so much for saying that. What I would love to see here is Senator Tim Scott sitting down with Donald Trump and saying, you know, I got to tell you, when I heard that comment, didn't make me feel good, made me uncomfortable. And I've worked with you on these important issues. And I need to know if when you said that, if it meant what it sounded like you meant, and especially if it meant what everybody around here is chattering, you know, taking your words and putting them into the context that fits their narrative, because this is all theater, folks. It's an election year. It's almost October. Any single thing that can be advantageous to somebody's campaign is going to be used. Have Senator Scott sit down with Trump, ask him that question, and have them have the conversation in public. And if Donald Trump doesn't adequately answer the question, Tim Scott needs to bust him on it. Tim Scott needs to make sure that he gets the clarification that Americans need, not white Americans, not black Americans, not Republicans, not Democrats, not all of the people who have disavowed politics for the rest of time based on last night's debacle. Have the conversation. And if people are not willing to listen to that Tim Scott, Donald Trump conversation, they don't care anyway. They already know what they want to be true, and they're not going to have their mind changed by it. But if there are people who feel uncomfortable about what they heard the president say last night, which I do honestly believe is different than what he meant last night, as Tim Scott said, I think he misspoke. I think he should correct it. If he doesn't correct it, I guess he didn't misspeak. I mean, Katie, do you feel like that would be something that would, if you saw Tim Scott sitting there talking to the president, maybe at the White House, maybe somewhere less, extravagant, having this conversation, and Tim Scott saying, you know what, President, that didn't come out the way I think it should have come out. I think I know you, and I don't think that's how you act. And I know you've done a lot for the African-American community and for minority communities. Do you want to take another stab at it? Do you think that would resonate with anyone?
I think
hesitation means no.
The reason why I say no, it would not resonate with the people that were already looking at this debate thinking that Donald Trump was a racist already initially going into it. I don't think it changes their mind. I think that they will go with what they already believe and what they heard last night at the debate. But for someone like me who really did not like that statement and did not like that moment and thought that Trump could do better, that's something that I need to hear.
Do you believe that Trump meant what he said, or do you think he didn't articulate himself well?
I don't think he articulated himself well. And I think at that time too, Ryan highlighted this. We didn't get really a chance to react right then and there because they were already on to the next thing. I'd like to believe that Trump probably was already thinking on to the next thing. Like I said, sure, that's what I said, sure, on to the next thing. And so I think he needs to clarify. That would make it better for me, for someone that knows that he is not a racist. But people that already went into it believing that he was a racist, they ain't changing their mind.
And the most frustrating thing about the knowing he's racist stuff is based on media presupposition and agenda and slant that they've run before on things that are factually untrue. I mean, like, Ryan, when you listen to the questions that were asked last night, there were a lot of questions that Chris Wallace prepared that relied on understandings of things that didn't necessarily find their roots solely in fact.
Yeah, I think climate change was one of those big ones. Racism was one of those. I do think that he should take this opportunity with Tim Scott. He's so good at controlling the media narrative, but this is one issue that has controlled him. And he needs to take it back. He's better as a politician or as a public spokesperson than this. And this is an opportunity for him to do it on Fox News. Him and Tim Scott, they'd give you half an hour, sit down and have a discussion. And it would be the only thing people are talking about. And Katie's right. People who don't want to be convinced wouldn't be convinced, but there are people that would.
Is Donald Trump racist?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And I think the proof is everything that you need to know about Donald Trump not being a racist is everything that happened to him before he was the president and how people loved and appreciated and admired him. We all already know that. He was getting awards in the Black community for his work with the Black community. That we all already know this. But as soon as he became the president and the media had an opportunity to twist that narrative so that everybody would hate him, it just shows possibly how much we rely on the media.
You know, here's the other thing. If Trump is irked that he would need to clarify this, if people are saying, no, you need to do this, you need to come out and make a bold statement. If that irked him, he has to understand that his supporters are loyal. I am loyal to his cause more than I am loyal to Donald Trump. I want his policy and his cause to succeed. But when he doesn't take the opportunity, like he missed it last night, he makes it harder for us to explain why our side, not our man, but our side is a better alternative. And I will go with you policy for policy in every single issue and have an honest, open, perspective learning debate with you on every policy that is being proposed, right versus the very far left, which is in control of the Democratic Party right now. And we win on every single issue. And I can explain that to you. Donald Trump has to win in order for those policies to be put into place. But when this stuff comes out and you know you're not playing in a fair fight, it's like in Gladiator where Joaquin Phoenix stabs Russell Crowe in the back underneath his shield before he goes out on the field. That's what you're doing when this media is so recklessly biased. More tomorrow, but DGS coming up next.
So beat the drum with me.
Dear beloved home, your doors and windows have been through it all.